Hey, welcome back to an episode of the Ramen Podcast. I'm your host, Juan, and as always, my co-host here with me. Hey, Trip.
Hey, Trip.
How you doing, man?
I'm so tired.
Yeah?
I didn't sleep much last night, and I'm a big old baby when it comes to that. Mm-hmm. And then I did nothing at work, and now I'm dying to talk about The Promised Neverland, because that's today's episode, as begged by Tangerine Dreams.
Now, we're going to be really honest with you, Tangerine Dreams. I feel like we did talk about The Promised Neverland a lot.
Yeah.
But you really want us to do an episode about it. So we're going to, only because it's convenient, because that means they don't have to watch anything else.
Yeah. And for those of you worried about spoilers, we're not going to spoil anything that's not in the show. So everything in the show will be spoiled. That's free game.
Yeah.
You had like 2 weeks to watch it since we said, yeah, it's pretty fucking good.
Pretty fucking good, yeah. So we're going to spoil the show for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not
then I'm going to say some vague mystical shit about the manga.
Yeah, and I'm going to guess what that means.
And then I'll tell you that you're not right, but you could be right.
Yep, because that's what we do at the Instagram podcast.
And that's the show.
Thanks for listening.
Jiggly Cheesecake.
Yeah, it's been Juan. Nice to see you, guys. No, man. I'd like to also apologize if I sneezed throughout the episode. Allergies have been hitting me pretty hard. I've been sneezing pretty hard just hanging out here, so.
Honestly, this whole area that we're in, since it's filled with almond orchards and all of this fucking crazy amounts of pollen, because apparently almond trees have more pollen than other. Anyways, yeah, a lot of people here have terrible allergies around this time of year, and especially with all of the rain that we got. Chico normally doesn't get much rain. Now it's busting.
It's all out there, dude. There's nowhere to hide. Do you fucking like pollen? Come on down. Just get a bucket full of it. Yeah, so that's how I'm doing. So I might sound a little stuffy or congested or snotty, but hey, bear with us. Please don't call me the N-word. Anyways, speaking of which, great segue.
Yeah, thanks. So I think that we got my favorite, at least, comment that I'll get for a long time, because it's the quintessential YouTube comment.
Yeah, just total crap.
Where everything, it's like they had something they wanted to say, they had a thought, but they had they couldn't find the motivation behind it to put it in a cohesive order.
They had some sort of opinion, but no backing it, and didn't want to show their work, essentially. They said, I feel this way. And the only way to go about it was to use inappropriate language.
Yeah. So long story short, Kyle was not a big fan of a TV show. You could listen to Kyle's trash episode. It's Kimari Kusa, what she talked about. And the reason that it wasn't very good, in my opinion, it wasn't very good, is because of the small team, I think. Sometimes that could be better, but they just didn't have enough people behind it or enough money or time or something. And it being a small team, it's really hard for you to be able to push yourself further than you could already go to put a little TV show together. Anyways, the animation and the story and everything didn't seem captivating for the first episode. So Kyle was deemed the trash anime boy, so he got the show that we didn't like. And then somebody called out Kyle on everything that he said about the show.
But very, very poorly.
Just quoting things that Kyle said. And then he called him the N-word. And Kyle's a skinny white guy. And he's the most neat-ass piece. Neat as in N-E-E-T. The neat-ass piece of shit there is. Love it. Even though Kyle is employed. And But like when you look at him.
Oh, yeah. You see him.
He definitely.
He looks like the main character of some
any anime.
Any anime that's about to start. Like any specific, what's it called?
Isekai?
Isekai. It's about to, he's about to go to another world.
Yep.
Kyle's the guy.
Well, there's going to be some fucked up science shit
and
going down.
He's going to have a smartphone or anything. Yeah, so what's funny is, I guess the comment did make me laugh. I read it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't
so inflammatory. It's just such a YouTube comment.
So he says, he writes the N-word and with like the ER, the hard R, right? And I was like, holy shit, like you don't really see that very often, just like thrown out there, but after reading it, my biggest issue with the comment that this guy had was, it wasn't the fact that he said, that word. It was the fact that like he didn't even like explain why he liked the show or why he thought it was good or anything.
He was just like,
it was like, you're wrong. Fuck you. Yeah.
Wrong.
Which is fine. I mean, and we,
I love it.
We always like to, say that this is just our opinion. This is what we think, know. you're allowed to like things.
Oh yeah, and you're allowed to disagree with our opinion.
Yeah, but we're also allowed to think that your opinion's trash, right? Like we're allowed to think that if you like this, you're garbage.
Yeah, it's a two-way street. You can't just tell us like what you think about us, and we can't tell you about what we think about you in terms of opinions.
Yeah, I mean the N-word wasn't called for, but
always is.
But after reading it, I was just like, yeah, this is very quintessential. This is very like this is a YouTube comment that has no merit. Right?
Holy shit, it's amazing. Yeah, it's just like. I don't know even what I'm doing here, but I just listened to a podcast for 90 minutes and now I'm mad. So I'm just going to
yeah, he just
comment.
Punch on the fucking keyboards. Yeah, I mean, it's something that we don't want to. I mean, we're talking about it because it's something that happened.
Yeah, it's not something that I want all the time. Yeah. It's just my favorite because I feel like that's really made us a part of the YouTube team.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's it's something we don't want to promote. That that use of that word is isn't cool, and it sucks. It is funny that this guy went out of his way to do this. I mean, again, I wish he just would have said why he liked the show and why we were wrong.
Well, right now we're in my room, which is fucking trash right now. I've got clothes all over my bed. It's not tidied up whatsoever. And somebody to come out and be really mad at us. I'm like, we're just a couple of guys just hanging out.
We're just talking. You didn't have to sit here for an hour and a half listening to us fucking ramble about bullshit.
But thank you for doing that.
Yeah, people, I mean, and then,
hey, as long as you had fun with it, if you got mad, but you like being mad, hey, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean,
do that. Whatever.
I guess we do appreciate people commenting. It's something that's happened a little more frequently now. People have been commenting on stuff or messaging us, which is fun. It's fine. It is interesting. Yeah.
Still
but
haven't responded. By the way, just gonna put this out in the void.
Don't feed the trolls.
Responded to Andrew. He still messaged us, and we're gonna be homies on the Switch.
Oh yeah.
I just wanted to add him on before responding to the email.
Yeah.
So at this point, I don't know if I got off my ass and did it or didn't. So we'll find out on this week's episode of
Interim Podcast. Yeah, so that was fun. Trip, what else have you been up to, man?
I have been playing a lot of Hollow Knight.
Oh yeah.
I don't really have a whole lot going on Saturday. I was supposed to get my tires changed. Didn't, because whatever, I'll do it next weekend. I don't give a fuck. So instead I went and saw Missing Link, which is the new Leica film. I fucking love it.
Yeah.
But not nearly as much as Paranorman and Koopa and the Two Strings.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The animation is stellar. It's just out of this world. The story is really fun. It had some goofy writing that I enjoyed parts of. Other parts were a little bit too, like, kiddie.
Yeah.
Which, whatever, that's fine. That was my issue with Box Trolls, is I felt like it didn't really cater to the same audience as Paranorman. Like, there was overlap, but they went the direction that I wasn't, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyways, really liked this movie. It was fun. It looked fucking gorgeous.
Well, you invited me to that. I didn't respond because I was in a wake when this conversation happened. Because you hit us up. It was super early.
Yeah.
I have no desire to see the movie just because of like the story or whatever. Like, oh, that's interesting. I don't want to see it. But I've been seeing a lot of like promotional stuff like drop on my feed, and it's like a lot of the behind the scenes of like the stop motion.
Oh, it's so cool.
It's super cool to look at, and that's why I'd for sure want to go watch it, just because of I like seeing that. I mean, that style of animation is really cool, and all the work that goes behind it. One of my favorite behind the scenes will always be the Kubo and the Two Strings when they're when they're doing the
building
fucking
the skeleton fight.
Oh yeah, that shit's so fucking wild. So yeah, it's something I'm gonna get around to watching.
Definitely good.
And that's what I had a feeling that it was gonna be like that. Like, the best part would probably be the animation, and then after that's like the story or whatever.
It was just fun. It was nothing special. It was just fun.
Yeah.
A couple of parts did make me giggle a little bit, but it didn't get me that good.
Yeah.
And then after that, I played Hollow Knight a whole bunch. I dropped it a while ago. Kyle and I put almost 7 hours into it, and then just never played it since. So anyways, I picked that up, started it all over, and just been kind of hooked on that. So
yeah,
I lost some sleep last night because of
Is that why you're tired?
Yes, it is. I was like, time to go to bed at 11. And then I put the game on for a minute, and Kyle stuck around. And I'm like, well, I'm just going to keep playing until he goes home. And I did. It was very late. Let's see. I did some other shit. I really wish I could remember what it was, but it feels like it was forever ago.
It's all good.
Oh, I had dessert night at my job.
Oh, yeah, how'd that go?
Yeah, so it went really well. Essentially, every month we throw some kind of an event.
What's next month?
Next month's going to be Fiesta night. So
Tacos.
And nachos and burritos and whatnot.
But like hard shell tacos, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll see you then.
And soft shell.
What?
Yeah, we go pretty above and beyond with all the shit
your
that we
fucking
get, right?
chili night was gnarly.
Yeah.
Except for that fucking guy that ate just avocado and sour cream. Oh my
was
god.
awesome. That guy was going to town.
I still can't think about it. It fucking grosses me out. Oh my god. Yeah, so cool. Yeah, so back to dessert night.
Yeah, so it was great. Went ahead and the day beforehand, I bought a ton of different groceries with my boss. And when we were at Winco, we ran into your dad.
Yeah.
But he was far away. He was a couple aisles over. And I had seen him, I don't know, a bit into the store outing. But it was before we even got to the aisle or the lines or whatever.
The checkout, yeah.
Yeah, the checkout lines. I saw him, but he didn't see me. And then I saw him when he was checking out, but he didn't see me. And he saw me after he checked out. And I was getting all my stuff together. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey.
Yeah,
hey. That was it.
My dad said, hey, I saw one of your friends at the fucking at Winco. And I go, what the fuck were you doing? My first question is like, what were you doing at Winco, you know?
Yeah, what were you doing buying groceries?
He goes, oh, I need tortillas. Like, can't you have somebody do that for you or whatever? But then he said, like, who? And he just kind of like starts gesturing what you look like. And he's just like it was like Christopher. I was like, oh, Trip. He goes, no, Christopher. I was like, okay, yeah, Chris, I guess. And he's like, he was with the girl. I was just like, well, what did the girl look like? I don't know. She was small. I was like, that's fucking useless. You know, everybody compared to you small. And then you asked me to guess. I was like, I don't fucking know. It was Kate.
Yeah, it was my boss. Kate, yeah.
What all was for dessert night?
Oh man, we got donuts and pies and cakes and cheesecakes and ice cream with all these toppings.
Holy shit.
Lots of stuff, man.
I got invited
to fresh fruit and stuff to put with the ice cream. And
Sierra said I should come, and I was like, I got busy. But then I thought about it, I was like, I really don't like desserts, you know, just
yeah,
it'd be a waste. I'd have to show up and just help you guys clean up at the end, like I always do.
It was super easy to clean up too. Yeah. We just left all the dishes this time because it went so late. That was another thing. The past couple of times we've ran out of stuff pretty early. Because people want their free food, man. So we run out within an hour, and it's supposed to be like, we're scheduled for 2 hours of the event, and then we're expected to stay a half hour after to clean up. But for this one, we went almost the full time, and we're like, you know what? Let's just leave the dishes for tomorrow. We were really busy today. Yeah. So, so it was pretty good, man. Very successful. Lots of people, like over 100 people came easily. God, it's crazy.
Did my boy Lloyd show up?
No.
Yeah, that's right. He didn't show up. Piece of shit.
He doesn't even live here.
Yeah.
But he does. But he doesn't legally live here.
There's a fellow classmate of ours who I posted on Facebook that he moved into Villarice. I was like, oh, cool. You know, Trip didn't tell me about this. And so then I hit up Trip. I see you. I start talking to you about it. And you go, what? And I go, yeah, like he posted on Facebook that he lives here now. And you go, the fuck he does? I mean... I don't know. I told you that. That's all I've known. And then I guess we've just assumed that he's moved into somebody's spare room or whatever.
Yeah, he's in somebody else's house.
I think it's pretty funny.
So weird though, man. It blows my mind.
He's breaking the law.
Breaking the law for sure. Okay, and then finally the last thing that I've been doing is there's an Australian dude, an Australian director and actor named Chris Lilly. And he's done lots of stuff, starting with Summer Heights High and Angry Boys. He did, I don't know, something about like Making a Hero or something like that. I don't remember what it was exactly.
Yeah.
He's done Jimmy Private Schoolgirl, Jonah of Tonga, and I think other stuff. I don't know. Anyways, he has a lot of stuff that's on HBO, and all of those are. He plays every main character in the show, and they all have separate stories that wind up intertwining in some way or another. So this
guy's name?
Chris Lilly. And he has a new show that just came out on Netflix. It's called Lunatics. And I watched a couple episodes of that. I'm fucking excited to watch more. It's weird. Yeah. It is very weird. I'm into it. Essentially, everyone's weird in some way or another in the show. Mm-hmm. So you just have all different kinds of people, ranging from an African woman that can talk with animals to an ex-adult film star who is a hoarder and very quirky, I guess you could say. There's a freshman in college who's 7'2", and she has a...
Sorry, hold on. 7'2", and then you said which then blew my mind.
Yeah, she has a leg disorder or something like that. Plays a 13-year-old boy who's essentially just a 13-year-old boy. He plays this realtor with a huge ass. Like, him and his brothers all have big asses, and everyone in their family has huge asses.
Does he play his brothers too?
No. Okay. No. But he has played twins in the past. So he's played both of the characters.
What a strange dude.
His 7'2" girl character is twins with another girl that's like regular though. So they're not identical twins.
But they're twins.
Yeah, and they're like, we're not identical twins. And people always say, it's really funny. It sounds a lot more over the top than it feels. Mm-hmm. The weirdest thing about it is like, this is a goofy situation. Oh, this is kind of a funny thing. But they feel like genuine, real people. And it's bizarre. And then he also plays I'm going to call him a clothing businessman. He like owns a couple of clothing stores. And he has, I don't know the name of it, but it's where you are physically attracted to objects. Okay. Inanimate objects, right? Yeah. Like cars or whatever. And he used to be this kind of a person. Like, he used to have that disorder with a cash register, and he's gotten help from a pastor, and he's moved past that, and his family or whatever they're all working through it. It's a weird show. Yeah. And somehow they're all going to tie together in some way.
Yeah, I'm glad you're watching this strange show.
Dude, if you saw it, you'd be like, I get it. It's weird, but I get it.
Oh, I'm glad you're using your time wisely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's fucking fantastic. It's done in like a documentary style, but it feels fresher. It feels newer. I don't know. It's great.
Well, man, I've been pretty busy with school and stuff. Yeah. I got this. I was just complaining to you about this assignment I have for this facial motion capture thing that our school doesn't have the software for. So our teacher assigned us to hit up the people and get a 30-day trial. But I can't figure out how to get the 30-day trial to work. Like, I've been like talking to customer service back and forth, and I think they're pretty fed up with me. At one point I was like, hey man, like, I really need this to work. Email, fucking, here's my phone number, text me, call me, like Skype, I'll
do whatever.
Yeah, fucking use one of those remote control things. You can fix the thing. Like, I need help. And they're just like, yeah, you need to delete these things. I'm like, I can't fucking find those, bro. Like, they're not here. So today in class, I talked to a bunch of other classmates, and I've come up with like, I figured out like how I could get it to work. I'm just going to have to use someone else's computer who's already done it. And, just that's it. Like, I can't figure out how to do it myself. I'll just use someone else's computer that figured it out. And I was like, "Whoa, that's a good solution." That just means I have less time though, because I gotta be like, "Hey, can I borrow a computer for 2 hours to do this assignment?" It's 25 points, which doesn't seem like a lot, but we've only had like 2 other assignments in this class. So
yeah, I've had issues because this is for motion capture, but you're also doing like programming and stuff.
Yeah.
And this is all done on a Mac, right?
Oh, no, the thing is I have to do it on a PC.
Yeah.
So I am borrowing my friend's PC to do it, and it's like, I don't know. Because
Macs are really difficult to do any of that shit with. Yeah. I don't know why, but you have to get like super expensive programs, and you have to be a professional in order to even use any of that shit on a Mac, which blows my mind. How do you even get a start on it if you just happen to have a Mac? Anyways, when I was doing programming, a couple of the programs, like 2 of the ones out of the 3 that I had to get for all my programming classes, they all had Mac versions, but none of them worked properly.
Yeah.
And they were super different, even though it's, the same program, just different machine. Totally different. It was like I was learning 2 different things at once.
Yeah.
Even though, you're programming with the same language, you're fighting a program instead of somebody being like, hey, here's how to learn it. Good luck. It's like, hey, just fucking figure it out on your own, essentially.
Yeah. So that's that's the assignment right now. It's kind of taking up the most of my time, just like mentally, because I'm really frustrated with the thing. Let's see what else I've been doing. I'm making a game for my coding class. We're doing it's like Pong. So like, there's 2 paddles going up and down. It's the paddles are spaceships, and it's also like Space Invaders. So like you're shooting the person's like buildings that are behind it.
What's it called?
It doesn't have a name yet.
Oh, okay.
I mistakenly picked the most eccentric guy in my class to be my partner because I was the only guy I knew, you know? So I go, hey, will you be my partner? Just because I don't want to work with somebody I didn't know. He goes, yeah, sure. And then we sit down and we're being, like, the assignment is being assigned. I'm like, and I'm thinking about what's a doable, easy thing to do.
Yeah.
So I said, like, with this Pong idea, right? I was like, oh, I just wanted to make Pong at first or a pinball game. I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty easy. And then, our teams get broken up. Like, okay, go talk to your teams. And we sit down and Will goes, what do you want to make? And I go, I was thinking like Pong or this pinball game, you know? And he goes, ooh, yeah, I don't want to do that. I'm like, I want to do something different. I was like, what do you want to do? He goes, I want to make a first-person shooter. I was like, get the fuck out of here. We're not doing a first-person shooter.
Jesus Christ.
So then I was like, well, I tried to explain to him, like, hey, man, this is a 2-week assignment. You know, I got other things to do. Can we just kind of do this? And every time I modified my idea to the point where we got this game that we're going to make. And when the teacher shows up, like we're explaining to him and I'm like, look, man, it's like this. And he just goes, oh yeah, cool. It's like Space Invaders, but on its side. I go, yes, that's exactly what it is. And then he goes, that's perfect. Just make that work. And then we'll start talking about like all the power-ups he wants to do and all these things. And he goes, just make the game work, you know? And then if there's time, maybe put in a power up. I was like, yeah. I was like, cool. Okay, so that's where we're at. Like, I'm gonna make this game work, and then maybe we'll put in power ups. You know?
Yeah.
I should have just picked some fucking random. I should have just been like, hey, dude, be on my team, and I'm just gonna do all the work with my friend Kyle, and you can just sit here and get the easy A. Because Will's like, no, I have to be involved, and I have to make this thing awesome. I was like, how do we just make a game that works? You know?
Oh man.
Yeah. So that was my bad.
It's tough stuff.
Yeah, it's all right. What else has been pretty new? Oh, I took my parents' dog to puppy training for the first time.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. Little Vela getting some train on.
She's doing really good. She's a smart dog. The other dogs there was like a little golden retriever named Honeybee.
Ooh.
They called him Honey. And at first I didn't know his name was Honeybee. And I was like, they kept calling him Honey. And I was like, that's a bitch's name. That's what I just kept thinking, you know? And then they were like, yeah, this is Honeybee. You know, I was like, but we call him Honey because, you know, Honeybee's too long. I was like, then why the fuck did you call him Honeybee, you know? And then the other dog's name was Layla. And she was really skittish. And she didn't play well with other dogs. So she was just kind of like, she wouldn't like edge her way towards Vela and then like start growling and then like move back. And Bella's a big dog. She's she's a Pyrenees and she's like 3 or 4 months and she's fucking getting big. And then the last dog was like this really tiny, like fucking purse dog and like really small, smaller than my mom's dachshund. And as soon as I saw her, I looked at Bella. I was like, yo, that dog over there is not a toy. Like, do not fucking chew on it, you know? Cause she fucks up my mom's dachshund. She just doesn't know. She's like, oh, we're just playing. I was like, you're destroying this other animal right here. So she did good. Like the teacher was using her as like an example. She was like using all the demonstrations, I think, because he picked up like, oh, she's a smart dog. The only issue is that like he was like training with her or whatever, and then he'd be like, okay, cool, everybody not do that with your dogs, and he would like walk around and she would just try to follow him. I'm like, no. The treats that he's giving those dogs are their treats. You got your treats. I have treats for you. And she's like, no, I want his treats. You know, like he's got the stuff I want. It's like, I have the stuff you want too. Just listen to me, like you dumb dog. So that's interesting. It's been going pretty well. Let's see, what else do I have to say? I went to Easter at Sears.
Yeah, you did.
That was interesting. I played Smash Bros with their younger brother.
Nice.
We played a dice game where like, I don't know how to describe it, but like essentially the dice had three sides to it or 4 sides. It was like left, right, stars or circle. And depending on what the dice said, you kind of just kept dishing out tokens or whatever. Yeah. And at the end, whoever had the last token won. And they won real money, which is like, I lost both times. And then we had to play. They had to find Easter eggs, which
you did a hunt.
I wasn't really for it. I was like, I'll do as much as I want, and then I'll kind of stop. And then
because you're scared, huh?
No.
Yeah, you're scared.
No. And then people were like, her sisters were like, well, you have to do at least 19 eggs. I was like, I don't want to do 19 eggs. And they're like, well, if you don't do 19 eggs, they don't divide evenly. I was like, well, who cares? Like,
what?
I was like, and he's like, so the way we like fixed the problem was I was going to get as many as I wanted, and then everybody else got their 19. And once that happened, then everything else was fair game. I was like, fine. If that's... Anyway, Sierra won $25.
Nice.
And I won $5. And I made Sierra give me her money just because I was like, give me that. And she said, sure. So
yeah, she told me. I was like, what the fuck did I just hear you say? What?
Yeah, I don't know. She's like, sure. Maybe she felt bad for me because, you know, I didn't want to be at Easter. She's like, here's $25. I mean, I had a good time.
That's good.
Yeah. What else happened? I swear, every time you're talking, I'm like, oh, I know what I'll talk about.
And then when talk some more then. How about
and
that?
then when it becomes my turn, I like forget what I'm going to talk about, right?
Oh, shit.
No, okay. What else happened? Okay, here's the last two things.
All right, cool.
I watched a movie on Netflix that I enjoyed.
What's it called?
It's called Circle.
Boo.
Have you seen it?
Is it the one with the people in it?
Yeah, there's
social media one.
That's The Circle.
Okay, well, that's what I'm checking about. No, I haven't heard of this.
Yeah, so it's from 2015. It's like an indie flick, right?
Is it called The Circle?
It's just called Circle.
Yeah, The Circle.
It's on Netflix.
The Circles.
Just called Circle.
Yeah, Circles. Okay.
And it's like an indie movie. It's like a survivor thriller horror kind of thing.
Okay.
It's literally all these people in this room. They wake up and they quickly learn that like they're on these like red circles and they can't step off of them without like a red light going off.
Okay.
And they can't touch the people next to them because the red light will go off. And then when they all wake up, they hear a timer kind of go down. Like it's not like an actual like number timer or like one. It's like
but it's just like
it's a noise. It's a noise that gets repeatedly faster until it like comes to like a stop. And then this thing in the center of all of them shoots out a beam and kills one of them. And they go, what the fuck's going on, right? And then they have to, and then they're like panicking, and then it happens again, you know. And then they have to come together and figure out what's going on. They also,
so wait, did anyone die from stepping off?
Yeah, one of the first person got shot, right? Well, actually, what happened first is like, I think someone woke up, and like before everybody else woke up, I was like, what's going on, right? And then she tries to step off, and the thing makes a noise, right? She tries to touch somebody and makes a noise. So like, as the audience, like, oh, okay, obviously those things. Right. You can't do, right? But then when everybody wakes up, someone's like, what's going on? They take a step and then they die. Someone gets shot by a laser beam, they die. Someone runs away, they die. And they're like, okay, guys, no one move. Like, what's going on here, right? Something else they notice is that, like, there's also arrows on the ground and something's been happened to their hand. Like, they have, like, then some sort of implants been put in. But they can, like, move. When they move their hand, their arrow that they can only see will move. And then when they close their hand, it gets locked in. So they're voting. Mm-hmm. So they vote for who they want to be shot by this laser beam.
Is somebody in on it?
No one's in on it.
Okay, just wanted to make sure because I would have been like
there's a mole in them.
If there was.
No one's like pulling the strings. They're just all these people in this room. They wake up and then they have to piece together what happens. And I think it's like every 2 minutes this timer thing happens. So periodic. So they have to like figure out how to like proceed and they have to learn along the way. Like at one point, one guy pipes up and goes. Like he gets everybody's attention. He goes, "Hey guys, okay, so this is pretty fucked. It looks like we're doing this weird voting thing. Can we just agree that like everybody over the age of 70 or 80 are the next to go?" And everybody's like, "Yeah, that's about fair." And they go, "Okay, cool." And they like look, they just point out. They go, "You," in that order. And that they bought them like 10 minutes. And people are like, "Well, what the fuck?" And they're like, "Well, sorry, there's no time to really discuss this, right?" And then like other issues come up, like race, classism, and like. Just things like beliefs, like in this whole like scenario of like, well, we're stuck doing here. What are we doing? Are we doing the right thing? I really liked it. The dialogue isn't like the best.
I feel like every single movie like that is not great dialogue.
I mean, there is like some like I guess it comes down to like the acting. Sometimes like they're not the best. They're a bunch of unknowns, right? There's like I think there's 50 people in the room, so it's like there's a lot of people. A lot of them are cannon fodder too. I really liked it though. By the time it ended, I was like, I'm like surprised at how it ended, I'm not going to spoil it or anything, but I was like, this is pretty cool. And it like got me thinking about like, just like a bunch of ideas of like, oh, I like this is a different take on like a survival game, which is something I like. Yeah. That I hadn't seen before. It's not the best movie by any means, but it was something easy to kind of turn on and just kind of like I was doing other stuff and like listening and paying attention and hearing them talk and discuss thing. And then you see one get blasted away. And you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, man. Good survival shows, movies, anime, manga. They're all fantastic.
Yeah. So I enjoyed that. Check it out. It's on Netflix. I said Circle. If you like that kind of stuff, like if you don't, you might find it morbid or whatever. Mm-hmm. You just don't watch it. There's no like gore in it, so like don't worry about it being like violent or anything. But it's for sure not for kids. There's like bad language and
stuff. If this was an anime, do you think it would have been better?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, just making sure because I'm imagining it in my head. At first, I was like, okay, I can imagine this like live action. Okay, and then I shifted over to anime and was like, oh yeah, I'd watch the fuck out of this show.
It would have been way better in anime because then you kind of get into someone's head and they go like, oh my god, like they're like crunching the numbers in their head. You can hear what they're saying. In action, you know, I guess the benefit of live action is you don't know what anybody's actually thinking, which is pretty cool.
Both are cool. One feels very authentic.
Yeah. It reminded me a lot of that manga I'd read a while back called God Says. Yeah. I was like, oh, cool. This could be a game in that manga, and that manga could be an anime.
God Says was a cool idea. Why did they fuck it up?
Yeah, why did they make this live action and not just an anime? They should have just made it an anime.
Yep.
Anyways, so I watched that. I thought I said I had one more thing. Oh, I'm watching How I Met Your Mother. That's what I was going to tell you.
Yes, you are.
I was complaining about how tired I am and how much work I have, and you go, it's crazy. You complain about this all the time, but somehow you manage to watch Friends every year or whatever. And I'm like, well, you know, I did finish Friends this year, and you
watched all of Survivor.
I read The Office. I watched The Office again, and then I started How I Met Your Mother. I was like, yep. Well, I'm in season 2, so fucking sue me. So, yeah. So that's what I've been up to, man. How's your anime watching though? How's it going?
Oh, it's been good. I'm watching a few shows this season. Let's see. Shield Hero still going on. This last episode had some good stuff in it. It wasn't as emotional as like previous ones have been, but this one was very good. It was a lot of flashback to Reptilia's past and her friends and whatnot. So that was pretty cool to see. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Dororo, still killing it, dude. It's so good. I don't know why it's so good, but each episode I watch, I'm more and more invested. It's just such high quality television. And that's done by Mappa, who also does Sarazan Mai, which is incredible. That's the Kappa show. Mm-hmm. It's so bizarre, and it kind of breaks a lot of boundaries, I think. I'm really intrigued to see where else it goes. But no, it's not for everyone, but fuck, it's so cool. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Watching Bungo Stray Dogs Season 3. Liking it a lot. It's the first episode. Needed to get back into it. And the second episode, man, they kill so many people. Oh, yeah. It's crazy. Yeah. Like, they're not afraid to be violent. They're not afraid to wound characters that we know and enjoy. Mm-hmm. It's awesome, but this was a big flashback episode. Like the 2 first episodes have been flashbacks about one of the main characters' past, the guy who wants to kill himself or whatever.
Yeah.
Some flashbacks into his past with other characters that are really interesting, and just it's good. It's great. Let's see. There's another show that I'm watching. One Punch Man. That's what it is.
Yeah, we were just talking about how forgettable One Punch Man season 2 is, right?
So One Punch Man. The second episode was better. Yeah. We're getting there. We're trying to figure it out. We're going along the path that we have to go along in order to get to the best TV show that we could watch. I feel like the first episode didn't have any jokes that made me laugh or anything. It was just like, yeah, this is comedy. Yeah. I feel it. Good feels. Yeah, good writing. Okay, cool.
This is One Punch Man.
Yeah, you know, it's just it's classic One Punch Man. I'm into it. Animation did not impress me in the first episode. Mm-hmm. Second episode, it had some cooler stuff that they could get away with some more tricks with animation, but there were a lot of lazy parts too. Some of the lazy parts in it were like still shots of action happening, and which might sound weird to say, but like if somebody's like punching or something, it shows like an effect, but it does like a zoom in or whatever, and it's being stopped or it's really slowed down or something, so you can see the effect more. But the effect is just slow movement, and it's nothing really special. But yeah, this episode made me laugh a couple of times. I really like what they're doing with King, considering that Saitama knows that he sucks. Mm-hmm. He didn't out King.
Yeah, no, that's not his way. Yeah,
no. But he is like, if you're gonna be a hero, you have to be a fucking hero.
You should get good at this. Yeah, get good scrub. Yeah.
So he's still like that, but then the rank 1 and class B comes, and they're trying to grill Saitama and like bully him. Be, hey, you're working for me, and that's how you're gonna be the best in rank B. And he's like, how about you quit fucking bullying people and you actually take care of some goddamn villains? Yeah. Meanwhile, Gintama is holding off Speed of Sound of Sonic.
You mean right? He said Gintama?
Yeah. No, what's his... Genos. Why would I say that? Genos, yeah. Gintama.
I was like, shit, Gintama showed up? Fuck.
Yeah, and then he was there. I don't even watch Gintama. Where did that come from? Anyways, yeah, Genos is holding off Speed of Sound of Sonic. Fucking... How did that happen? I'm kind of blown away that I said
Saitama
that.
kind of sounds like Gintama. I guess.
Yeah, I guess I'll just say that. So Genos is fighting off Speed of Sound of Sonic, like I said 3 times. And that's all kind of happening somewhere else. He's been lured away from Saitama's apartment. And then as this rank B, like number 1 rank B or whatever, is trying to bully and fight Saitama, and he's just not even having it. He doesn't want to hurt her or anything. But he winds up seeing in the background Genos and Speed of Sound of Sonic fighting, and is like, the fuck is going on over there, right? And it gets closer. And it knocks this rank B down and whatnot. And then he gets in the way. And he's like, hey, guys, fucking stop, okay? You just hurt her. That's not cool. And she's like, wait, you didn't do that? And he's like, no, this explosion did it. This is bullshit. And he's talking to him. And she's getting more and more intimidated just because he knows, like, what the fuck? How do you know Genos? Like, one of the rank S heroes.
We boys.
Yeah, and that was kind of fun seeing that interaction of people still don't know who he is, even though he stopped the world from being destroyed.
Yeah, he's the best, but no one knows.
Yeah. And then King comes by later, and he had borrowed King's game and deleted the data. He's like, oops, I accidentally saved over his file. Huh. Maybe I shouldn't give him back. Nah, I should probably tell. I'm going to tell him that I went over his file. And then King gets there. She's super intimidated by that. And he's like, hey, man, did you borrow this game from me? He's like, oh, yeah. Saved over your file, man. I know you're pretty upset, but I'm like really sorry about that. And he's like, what? Yeah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's like, what the fuck is happening?
She's like losing her mind. Like,
yeah, like, no.
Yeah, she doesn't.
It was just really fun to see those casual reactions of just like, hey, stop fucking fighting here. What are you guys doing?
Yeah, yeah.
She's like, he's talking to him that way? It's great. Everyone just respects him. So that was just a really fun, fresh kind of, that's why I like this show. Yeah. Because it's goofy. It's the same stuff we've already seen, but they do it well. Except the animation, which for a second, you could consider this news. I didn't write it down, but you remember how the Madhouse worker
was overworked?
Yeah, it was overworked. More information's coming out about Madhouse and people working like 400 hours in a month and stuff like that, which is over 10-hour days, like every day or some shit like that. I don't know. Anyways, so everyone's just overworked at Madhouse is kind of what it sounds like. And they're paid an average salary. So they're not paid hourly.
Or overtime, yeah.
Yeah. So they're just paid their salary, and it's a very average one. And they're being overworked. And that's how they get so much out of Madhouse. That's how they can make a regular TV show without extra funding or anything. That's how they make it look so good, is because everyone's overworked.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense.
That's crazy.
Hey, it is called Madhouse.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's why season 1 of One Punch Man was probably, people didn't say explicitly that this happened during One Punch Man. Oh, bless you.
Sorry.
People didn't say explicitly when this was happening. So we don't know if it was during One Punch Man or not. But the fact that it is something that's happening could probably... Bless you again. This probably could have been something that happened in the past. And I don't know. Would One Punch Man be here if it wasn't Madhouse overworking people? Because season 2 is just so much more lackluster than 1. But I mean, yeah, I don't know. The writing was good though.
That must be like a factor that you got to put in. I mean, I don't know what Madhouse is. I mean, obviously what they produce is amazing, and maybe the mentality that like, if you want to work here, you got to fucking do extra. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it sounds like, you see, and then like, how do I feel? Like, how am I mad about that? Because I mean, I guess I am mad because, you know, these people are being worked to death essentially.
Yeah.
But the stuff that they produce is so amazing because of this horrible thing they're doing. I don't know. It's like a sweatshop essentially.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just telling you earlier that I forgot to like watch the second episode of One Punch Man season 2. Like that's how
unforgettable.
Yeah, unforgettable was like I watched the first one. I was like, it's fine. And then I was in class the other day, and I was talking to like a classmate, and I was like, hey, are you watching season 2 of One Punch Man? She goes, oh, that's out. And then I just hear someone in the back go, that shit sucks. Just like yells it.
Yeah.
And I go, calm down. It doesn't suck. It's just, it's different. You know, it's not as good or whatever. Yeah. But it's still okay. It's kind of like and then this kind of started a discussion. People like, what happened? And I explained to them like, well, Madhouse dropped it. JC staff picked it up. and like that art looks different, the animation looks a little different, like the characters just look different. You know, it's still cool. I don't know. I think it was hard to vouch for it, but it was also maybe it's just growing pains. Maybe we'll get used to it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see.
I'm gonna keep watching it. Obviously.
Yeah.
If I can remember. Yeah. That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
What am I watching?
And then Demon Slayer. Yeah. Kimetsu no Yaiba. That's the name of it. It's fucking good.
I like it.
Man. The third episode. Okay, so this is weird. Talked about Promised Neverland this week, and I just read the most recent release of the manga, and that's one of the reasons why we're talking about it this week is because it's more fresh and I know all this stuff. Anyways, in the middle of it, I turn the page and then I see Demon Slayer. And I was super confused. I was like, is this going to be, what the fuck? Is this a weird crossover thing? Yeah. And then it was like 4 pages in the middle of the 8th book. I think it's the 8th. Maybe it's the 9th. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's the 9th.
It's like a preview of something?
I honestly don't know.
Does it just look like accident?
I think it's an accident.
I want to see it.
Well,
Bring it over. I want to see it.
You can't see it because there are spoilers.
I can
not
see
for Demon Slayer, but on either side.
Oh, really?
It's like really big spoilers.
Damn. We'll rip those pages out, then I can see it.
That's true. I should. No, that was the crazy thing. I was like, what? It was doing it. We're gonna get into Promised Neverland for a second. So it does some flashback, and you are seeing when Norman was taken away and seeing what went down specifically. Like you're seeing that scene and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I switch over and I'm like, okay, what's happening now? Like I just felt like I was on a crazy thrill ride. And it was weird because
it's Demon Slayer though.
Yeah, it's for sure Demon Slayer. And the weirdest thing about it that makes me know it wasn't like a preview is because nothing happened at all. It like didn't have any kind of really interesting dialogue. It was just like, man, you gotta like train more or whatever. You gotta do this when you're training. Like, I know I really should do that. I just kind of don't want to. And it was just like a casual conversation.
I'd save that book, man. It may be worth something since a misprint.
I'm not gonna get rid of it.
Save it.
I'm saving it. It's saved.
It's worth money.
It's saved on my hard drive.
Oh, nice.
And then I also read the latest. Oh, sorry. We're still talking about Demon Slayer. Yeah. Third episode's fantastic. They jumped through 2 years really quickly.
Oh, nice.
And they do a lot of training, but it's not shitty training, and it's really interesting. A lot of like mental stuff. And the girl doesn't wake up during all this time.
Wow. 2 years.
Yeah, so she's in like a big coma. It's crazy. I'm really, really interested to see where else the show goes. But after the episode ended, I was like, oh, fuck, I need to see more. Oh, this show looks so good.
Yeah.
And this is something that I want to compare to. During those action sequences in One Punch Man that were just like, they were essentially still frames with like a little bit of something going on. Demon Slayer did the exact same thing.
They did it better.
So good. And it looks great. It's like a stylistic choice is what that feels like versus One Punch Man being like, we chose to do this because it's less work. This was like, we're choosing it to be this way because it adds something.
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, it was weird. It's like he's being knocked over in the air and it does like a slow motion of that, but he's screaming regularly. And then his, they have just like a looping animation on his, coat thing and it's flapping all over the place, but it looks really good. So he's like slowly rotating as it's flapping and it's pretty damn anime. But it's anime in a good way versus just like, this is essentially the manga, but now we're moving the characters around on the screen.
I only got to see the second episode of Demon Slayer.
But that went nuts, right?
Yeah, I enjoyed the second season. I mean, the second episode. I think, what was I going to say? I think that the character that we have as our main character is growing on me. I thought he's kind of annoying it a little bit. Not to the level of like Asta annoying from fucking Black Clover or Naruto, early Naruto, you know?
No, this feels like pretty typical shonen start, but he's smart too.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
You could tell that he's capable right off the bat. He doesn't know how to fight, but he's able to come up with a cool strategy against an experienced fighter, like a crazy experienced fighter.
I also like the fact that he's not just OP for some reason, you know, like, sometimes the character's like, he's just the strongest. Why? Just because he's the chosen one. Like, it's not that situation, you know, it's like, you can tell that he's smart. He's got like heightened sense of smell. That's one of his like powers or whatever, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much the only thing.
But besides that, he needs to be like trained and polished. He needs to learn how to, improve. And
so in the second episode, he essentially meets the guy.
Yeah, he fights a demon by himself real quick, and he meets the guy that's like gonna be training him or whatever. And he notices like, oh, he's kind of like he's soft. He's too good. He doesn't have the heart to kill like a demon, which is something he needed to improve on, which is cool. Which was like, oh great, this is like he's like a legitimate like good guy,
Yeah. The thing that blew me away is that the next episode's all about training. So the third episode just about training. And he trains him for 6 full months.
Wow.
And then he disappears.
Just gone.
And he continues to train alone for a year and a half.
Just by himself, huh?
Yeah. It was really cool development. So you know that we have a character that's not going to be annoying. We jumped through 2 years in one episode. We had he's trying to learn for 6 months, and then after he's capable enough to teach himself the rest.
Yeah.
He just needs to be isolated and keep training and training and training. He gets that opportunity, so he becomes more hardened and he stops caring about things.
Does he physically change? Like, does he look different?
Dirty,
but not like bigger, like taller or anything.
His hair grows and he gets a little bit more jacked. Okay. So it's really good. I'm excited to see more of it.
You know that's gonna be cour?
Yeah.
I didn't know
so that was part of the news that you just spoiled.
Fuck.
So let's get into the news. Hey, that's my first piece of news.
I wanted to talk about what I'm watching.
Yeah, well, it's too fucking bad, man.
It's fucked up, dog.
But anyways, it did get announced that it's going to be cour and it's going to have 26 full episodes.
Sorry, dog.
Thanks.
I thought
fucking talking about news. Hey, did you hear this news? Fucking you goofball! You really goofballed this one up.
I'm just gonna
big old goofer.
Just gonna get my backpack and fucking mosey on out. I know where I'm not wanted. Okay,
so what have you been watching? You been watching more Fruits Basket?
I watched Demon Slayer.
Yeah.
Watched second episode. I enjoyed it. It's something I do want to continue. I like the way it looks a lot more than anything.
Stylistically.
It looks nice. Like
they have big blocky outlines sometimes, and they look good.
It kind of reminds me of like what like these like tattoos. Like there's like old school tattoos. Traditional tattoos have big blocky black outlines. Like I don't know why. Whenever I see them, like that's what it reminds me of. So I like that a lot. I think I like their eyes too. It's a good show. With obviously, that's why we're watching.
Well, they have like square pupils that are light,
which I really like. I'm watching Fruit Baskets. It just looks like it's going to be one of those like, hey, I'm the new sexy boy and I turn into an animal. And I'm like,
that's a shoujo, man.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm sitting there and be like, this is for sure all me. I can't wait to watch all of this. And then Sierra fucking spoiled something.
What?
We got the Chinese food, and then she said, "Oh, hey, by the way, the biggest bummer of Fruit Baskets is that there's no rooster character because me and her are the year of the rooster." And I was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, just doesn't even fucking show up. No one fucking cares." So I go, "Oh, that's fucking shitty, bro."
And it's not necessarily a spoiler.
That's a spoiler, bro. Because guess what? I was literally sitting there like, I can't wait till they introduce the rooster. And now there's no rooster. Spoiled. Show spoiled.
So you would have hated the show, and now you hate the show.
Yeah. Fucking now, yeah.
So what
it has been spoiled for me.
Effectively, what did it do?
Effectively spoiled it for me.
All right, so you could have watched 12 episodes happily and then regretted all of it.
Yep, that's exactly what happened. Okay. Thank you, Trip.
You're welcome.
It was spoiled for me.
Just have to make sure how
my hatred has been spoiled for me.
I'm so sorry.
Thank you. What else am I watching? I'm still watching Shield Hero. I didn't get to the reptilian
episode.
The reptilian episode. I haven't watched that one yet, but people said it's pretty fucking emotional.
I mean, yeah, I think people
online.
are just people are really down to just get emotional at the drop of a hat. And I'm hanging out, I'm watching it. I'm like, oh, this next episode's probably going to be pretty emotional. And then I watched it and was like, I fucking get that, but like,
not as bad.
It didn't hit me that much.
Yeah, well, so
if it was more about her parents, it would have probably, but it was about her friends. And I'm like, they're all little kids.
So that's the one.
Anyways, I guess I don't care about little kids.
That's the one. That's one I'm about to start. What else have I seen? I'm watching the Kappa show.
Sarazanai.
I mean, that show's fucking great.
It's amazing. I don't know why it's so good, but I am enthralled when I'm watching it.
In the second episode, we see more of the what's it called? The cop characters that were kind of shown in the first episode, and they do their strange dance, and then they're like in the middle of the precinct or whatever, during like a fucking some sort of, I don't know, a bunch of other cops are there also.
Yeah,
like, I don't know what their role in the show is or what their play is.
It's not really clear yet, but it'll come to, I'm sure.
But they're pretty fun. And I was kind of right. I thought, I was saying that like, the main character is sending text messages to
his sister,
but it's actually like,
but it's his brother.
So
that looks like a girl.
Looks like a girl. Absolutely looks like a girl. And he's a dumb fucking bastard though. Like he's like, look at all the pictures you sent me, and like our main character's like, that's obviously me. Like that's for sure me in a wig, you know. Kids are fucking stupid.
That's the whole point of the show. What I love about it is that it's Power Rangers musical.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so fucking funny. They sing a stupid ass song that
and they just know the words to it. Yeah,
yeah. They suddenly just they know
how to fight. It's great.
Surreal as fuck.
What a fucking. There's a lot of wild stuff. Like you know the bad boy. We find out that in his box is a gun, and he's out here. He's just fucking slinging weed or whatever. It's like what?
That was great. I'm like, whoa, hang on, because they don't normally show pot in Japanese.
They for sure showed pot.
Yeah, no. It was pot.
And it's a kid. It's a kid slinging pot.
And a kid ate it. Or a cat ate it.
Yeah. And he's like, give me back my fucking pot. And he's like, threatens it with the ruler. He's like, you need to fucking slit this cat open for some pot.
Yes.
What else? Okay, yeah. So, and then you told me about like what happened in the after credits, like which I didn't know about. And you're like, yo, you saw that? I was like, and I'm like, I don't remember really.
That was the most mind blowing part to me.
And you played it for me, and like, so in the end of the episode, our main character, he's like.
He's dressed up as the idol girl,
and he's texting his little brother, and he's sending him the photo of the cat which is his little brother's cat. And he goes like, "Oh my god, thank God you found my cat! I'm so happy, yay!" And then he's just like, our main character's like, "Oh, good," and he like collapses from being too tired, right? And lays down on this like fucking cement bench, right? And then we see like a shadowy figure like come over him, right? And and you go, oh no, like you're like, what's gonna happen?
I did not want to see anything bad.
And then we zoom out, and it's just and we can see it's the like
his glasses friend,
his homie, with the glasses, and like, oh cool, we're good. It's just his glasses homie, and he bends over. I'm like, oh, he's just gonna help him up. He's gonna pick him up, take him home, and then we get a close up, and fucking glasses homie just kisses his fucking boy.
And he knows it's his boy. That's another thing too. He knows it's his boy. He sees the cat and is like, that's my boy's cat. And also, this is my boy dressed up like that girl that he dresses up as.
And I know it's my boy because in the last episode, I told him, yo, man, you can dress up like a girl. Like, I'll always love you because we boys, but not in a gay way. For sure in a gay way, though. Yeah.
No, it turns out it's in a very gay way.
Very gay way. This show's fucking great. Like, I really like this show.
Hey, man. So last night, we were having some conversations, Kyle, Sierra, and I. And you know how that goes. Very
gay pretty quickly.
Yeah. Anyways, so we started out and we were like, all right, hey man, if your life, like you had to choose to be with a monster girl, what kind of monster girl would you be with? Yeah, you.
Monster girl. Can you throw me some classic ones just so I can kind of think of them?
Absolutely. You could do slime girl or like werewolf. You could do centaur. You could do bunny girl. You could do bat girl. You could do like any kind of monster girl. You could do mummy girl, zombie girl, fucking harpy, snake, mermaid.
I'm not a big fan of the idea of like
demon,
of like claws, you know, like or anything with the tail, like a snake.
So you're looking for something fluffy.
I don't know. I'm looking for something more. The more human, the closest to being human, the better, right? Because
so you're looking for a monkey girl.
No, I think the tail,
like a curious.
I think the foot for like the hands for feet would freak me out. You know what? If I had to pick, it's monster girl, right? I think I would go with zombie.
Zombie girl?
Yeah, just
so
because
you want like a rotten girl.
Yeah, like a rotten chick. Just because I guess that's the closest to being a human.
Okay, sure.
Or
okay, yes, I like this.
Or this is really weird, I guess.
Go for it.
I'm a huge fan of beetles. If you got a bug chick, maybe a bug chick would be cool.
Okay.
Too.
See, I brought this up with Kyle, which we'll talk about in a second. See, it took a little bit. I don't remember exactly what Kyle and Sierra said, but their answers were pretty good too.
Yeah.
I think Sierra said centaur or something. And Kyle said something else. I don't remember. Anyways, I fucking no. I'm
mosquito. Yeah, nice.
I'm third guessing myself here because I went through like a bunch of different options. I think I went with Batgirl.
Yeah,
I think Batgirl would be a good one.
Okay,
for me.
Yeah.
Long story. Or no. That's what I initially said, and then I switched to Golem.
Like the ones that
they're made out of any kind of different thing. I went for a stone golem.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You get like sand golem, water golem,
like the Pokemon
earth golem,
big old golems.
Sure. Yeah. Like the Pokemon. More like the Reggies are actual
the Reggies.
Golems.
Yeah. That's what I meant. The big rock dudes or big ice dudes. Yeah.
Yeah, like those.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Anyway, so I would get a golem girl.
Okay.
For sure. Thanks, Indro, for the inspiration.
I was like, be made out of sand?
Cool ass things. No, I would do a stone golem. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, stone boobs, huh?
Well, the thing is, stone is also kind of like gems.
They're still hard. These boobs are still hard.
Yeah, but they look awesome.
I don't know. I don't want to slap a fucking diamond butt.
Why are you slapping butts, man?
I mean, obviously you're picking one of these girls for like it's a sexual fantasy. This isn't like, hey, let's hang out and be
okay. So on to the next question.
Yeah.
What monster boy would you be with? Who's your monster boy? Your ideal monster boy.
Ideal monster boy. Okay. For some reason, Beetle and Zombie just don't sound as appealing as a boy.
Yeah. See, for Kyle, I was like, what about like Cocutus or something? Because he was having a hard time deciding. And that's the giant beetle man from Overlord. And then,
that guy's pretty dope.
Yeah. And then we were thinking about all the like beetle maidens and whatnot that are in that, all the like buggy boys and buggy girls and everything. There's some cool ones, but like not for me, but like there's some cool ones, man. I like bugs. They're neato.
I guess if it's a boy, I'd have to go classic. I just probably pick like a werewolf.
Werewolf, not a vampire?
No.
I just want to know where you stand.
I'm not a huge fan. Fucking, we talked about Twilight during fucking Easter too. This was a weird fucking thing. The idea of like, classical where, fucking vampires, the whole like they seduce you and they hypnotize you. It's always been unappealing to me, the fact that like you have no control over it. And, yeah, I guess
I feel that
something about a werewolf just sounds more like it's just like it's a
like primal
thing, right? Yeah. And it's also like they're also very protecting. What are we doing?
No, I love this. I love this.
What the fuck is going on? Who would suck dick the best? That's the next question, right?
All right, no.
I knew that's the next question.
No. Okay, so for this one, I honestly can't decide still. Yeah. Essentially like some kind of a demon boy. So either like a satyr or a concubine or something like that, right? Yeah, I need my horny boys with hooves and...
I changed my mind then.
Succubus is what you wanted to go back?
No.
Or you like...
Some sort of... I guess it would be a satyr. I like the... I'm a sucker for horns, bro. Like the ram horns, Get ram horns, little clove feet. His poops are little drops. Yeah, that's what I want. Okay. Yeah. Fuck that. I want and he's super cute. He's like super like a cute, like a little boy, not like a manly man. Now I'm fucking this little boy. What's going on here, man?
There you go.
I can't believe you forgot how much I like horns. Yeah, fuck werewolves. It's all about the horns.
Yeah, man. Well, that's why Bowsette was so popular, right?
Fuck
it's the horns.
It's the horns, man.
Yeah.
If I could have horns, dog, this would be a different fucking... My life would be completely different.
So, yeah, we had this little conversation. I don't remember their answers either.
Yeah,
Kyle and Sierra, whatever, who cares? The important thing is that we know our answers, and that's what matters to us. So the next question, what inanimate object... That came from watching Lunatics. So we were like, if you... had to be with an inanimate object.
Is this inanimate object anthropomorphic? Can it move like a human?
I would say,
or is it still just an inanimate object?
I would say it needs to look nothing like a human.
Can it move like a human? Is it alive, or is it still just an object?
Just an object, something that's like actual, like it has a function like a computer or a microwave or a cash register, like in the TV show, something like that.
Oh, okay. So this one's tough.
I could give you a couple minutes to think about it.
Yeah, go for it.
I think like bed and phone and stuff like that make a lot of sense because they're things that you're always with.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
those are pretty sensible. Sierra chose water bottle because she always needs her water bottle and everything. And,
yeah,
I mean, and it's a water bottle. So then there's for me, I think Kyle chose a bag that he has or something
like the satchel he wears.
Yeah, something like that.
That's not bad.
So he had something. Yeah.
You know what? If I had to pick, it's probably like headphones.
Yeah,
I carry around a pair of headphones in my pocket.
Yeah,
all the time, even when I'm not like gonna listen to anything.
Mm-hmm. So you would cuddle with your headphones?
Oh yeah, I'd like wrap them around. I'd choke myself with it.
Yeah.
Why is this so violent? I'd plug them in my ears. I just plug them all over me, dog.
I would probably choose my ukulele.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Thing. Just it's a good partner. You know. Or a couch or something. Honestly, there are so many different options. I'm like, ooh, I don't know. I would definitely be in love with my couch. I think ukulele is.
Are we done with this game?
Whoa. Okay.
Is there more rounds?
No, that's the last round.
Are there more rounds?
That's the last round. I just thought it would be fun to talk about it.
You don't.
Because we talked about it last night and it was stupid and silly and I liked it.
What were we talking about before this?
Who cares?
I think we were talking about
I can't even remember. This is fucking great. I'm so glad that we spent this fucking.
We were talking about the anime that you've been watching.
Yeah, you fucking piece of shit. It wasn't even done.
I know, you were talking about Fruits Basket.
Fruits Basket.
And then we were talking about Stars on My.
We watched it. Yeah, that's right. We were talking about the boy kissing the other dude. Anyways, the glasses homie kisses our main character, and that shit blew my mind. This show's great.
Yeah. All right, and you're also watching Mix?
I'm watching Mix. Yeah, I watched 3 episodes that are out right now. I mixed things up, haha, if you would. It turns out that so I'm watching the show, right?
Yeah.
And I was super confused because like something was going on with with who was related to who, like who was actually blood brothers and blood sisters or whatever. And I was like, what the fuck's going on here? And then I had to stop the show and then go to Wikipedia and like read. I'm like, I need to understand this. And the way it was written confused me. I was just like, no, I have to read this and have to write this out. And
so it made a lot less sense. And do you think it would have made more sense if you had watched Touch, but it's not necessary?
No, it's not even because of Touch.
Well, I'm just wondering, just because if you hadn't watched it and all of this stuff is new, cool. That makes it, whatever. No, it's just confusing. But if you had watched Touch, do you think you would understand, like, oh, this is this person's cousin a little bit easier?
No, I think I think the issue is I must have just missed a moment when they were just explaining on who was related to who actually was whose mother and brother and sister. Because in the second episode, I think it's the second episode, it's brought up a lot. Like the mom mom actively likes to tell everybody around the neighborhood like how her family is set up, like how weird things are. So my confusion was I thought that the brother who was the little brother, because I told you this, they're both the same age, right?
Yeah.
They're born on the same day. One's just 10 minutes older than the other one.
Yeah.
And they're not related by blood. They just happen to be born on the same day, right? Mm-hmm. And then, one of the moms died, one of the dads died, and then these two people remarried and they became a family, right? So my confusion was I thought that the little brother and the little sister were actually blood siblings, but they're not. It turns out that the elder brother and the younger sister are blood siblings, and they're actually the kids of the mom. Okay. And that and also the brother who's younger is actually the kid of the dad. I thought the parents were also switched, because it turns out that the brother who decided to be the catcher, because his other brother was a better pitcher, because they agreed upon it. You fucking, why do you gotta make it like that?
I just love it because I don't know anything about this. I feel like kids just keep showing up as we're talking about it. You're like,
there were 3 kids.
Anyways, there's like 12 more brothers, and it belongs to all the dads. And
there were 3 kids. Okay.
Yeah.
And then the eldest brother and the sister are actually blood kids, right? Yeah. They're blood related, and they are the kids of the mom. There we go. And the other kid is the youngest one, and he's the kid of the dad. There we go. Okay. So what also found out was that the older brother's dad, who was actually the pitcher from the very first show, he's reluctantly given up and decided, I'm going to be the pitcher because my little brother's better at throwing the ball. And it looks like the dad, his stepdad's going to be, he's the one that's going to tell him, hey, actually your dad was like really good at baseball. Like he was like the fucking best pitcher, and you shouldn't give up on your dreams for being a pitcher, even though like my son, my actual son is better than you. I really like it. I like the show a lot.
Cool.
The pacing's still really slow.
But in a good way.
Yeah, and like it feels like it's classical. And then they do a lot of things where they show words. It's like almost educational. They're like, yeah, this is this word, but this word could also mean this word, and it means this word, and I'm calling you that word. And I go, thanks, man. Now I know a little bit more of Japanese.
Thanks, Japan.
Anyways, I think those are all the shows that I'm watching. Maybe there's other ones I forgot. I can't remember. Let's just do the news.
Let's get into the news. So, Violet Evergarden, we all know it. We all love it. It's getting a movie, and it's going to premiere on January 10th, 2020.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm super stoked for that.
I'm pretty jazzed, too. That's on your birthday, so that's
It's not my birthday.
Well, it's not on my birthday, so it's got to be yours.
It's not on my birthday.
Okay, well, whatever you say, man.
If we get invited to that world premiere, maybe we'll go.
We will go.
Maybe we'll go.
I'll fucking go.
We'll go.
Yeah, anyways, I'm excited about it, but I also wasn't a huge fan of the special episode that came out on Netflix.
Kind of sucked.
So we'll see. You got to get me back in it. You got to ease me into it again. I think that was the issue, is that I was already in the show, and then I didn't really have anywhere to go from there.
You remember when the mom wrote all the letters to her daughter?
Of course I do. Somebody posted a clip of it, and it was, you know.
Now we in it. Now we ready for that's all you need. You need that episode. I need the Soldier episode. We watched those 2 episodes. We're ready for the movie.
We're ready for the movie. So Demon Slayer is going to have 26 episodes. It's 2 cour now. I don't know if you guys knew about that. But
clue.
That's brand new news that we definitely are hearing for the first time now. Some not so good news. The creator of Lupin the Third series, Monkey Punch, passed away at the age of 81 due to pneumonia.
Bro, that's super fucked.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
It's a huge bummer.
I know that you're not the biggest fan of Lupin the Third.
No, but it was influential.
Yeah, no, and I've only seen some of it and I enjoyed it. But we do know a lot of people who really enjoy it.
Absolutely.
It's a real bummer. I mean,
it's a classic and it's also modern. Like it's one of those shows that keeps sticking around.
Yeah, the guy did a lot for like the culture. So
yeah,
a moment of silence for our dead homie. All right, you will be missed, Monkey Punch. What else you got?
My Ordinary Life. Nichijou is getting an English dub out from nowhere. Nobody expected it. It just came out from nowhere. They were like, hey, check it out. English dub. We're doing it.
What?
I think that's Sentai Filmworks that's doing it. I don't know. Somebody's doing it.
Nichijou. I like that. Yeah, that's a good show.
It is a good show.
That's that figure right there.
Yeah, it's the one that's like, trying to hold her little octopus wiener.
That's awesome. I'm excited.
That's what I'm going to say. Yeah. They call little hot dogs and stuff wieners in pretty much every Japanese show.
Yeah, you don't like that?
No. Which I think is totally fine. But I think it's interesting that it's never like sausage or
hot dog.
Yeah, anything like that.
It's interesting.
Just always wiener. I wonder why. It doesn't. Anyways, so this is pretty cool news for Attack on Titan fans. The animator Takashi Hashimoto, who's best known for animating explosions and all different things, from Gundam to Evangelion, Naruto, One Piece. He's the explosions guy.
Yeah.
He does explosions and everything, and he's going to work on Attack on Titan Season 3. Those of you that know about Season 3 can assume where this is going to be, but those of us that don't know what's going on are in for a treat, is essentially what this comes down to.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, man. Big booms.
I got one more piece of news for you here. You can read that. It's just read the front of it right there.
So there are a couple of people that died from pneumonia. So it wasn't just Monkey Punch, but it was also Lone Wolf and Cub manga's creator, Kazuo Koike.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he passed away.
That's a bummer. That's another thing that I know is super popular, that specific manga. So another moment of silence for that homie. All right, man. R.I.P. to the both of them. That sucks, man. Pneumonia's no joke, really.
No, it's not.
I hear it taking people left and right. Sorry to fucking bum you out at the end of the news.
Yeah. It's all good. We good.
We good,
We're
yeah.
having a good time.
Cool. All right, let's move on. This week we're talking about The Promised Neverland. Right?
Yeah, what about it?
It's a pretty good show.
Okay, cool. So you want to do an episode on it? Hey, let's do that. So it's made by the studio CloverWorks, who we've grown to love from things like Darling in the Franxx, Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, and Persona 5 the Animation. They were a subsidiary of A1 Pictures, or they still are, I guess. But they've just put out some fucking killer shows. And then the director of it is Mamoru Kanbei, who made Sounds of the Sky and Elfin Lied. So he's been script writers and storyboard writers and whatnot. He's been episode directors of all these different bigger shows that I enjoy. And he made a fucking awesome show here.
That's it. That's the episode, guys. That's the show.
Where do you want me to go, man? I don't know. I'm telling you all the background, okay? You get into the plot of it. Tell me about what we were talking about. What was the Promised Neverland's whole deal? What's the thing here?
Here's the issue with The Promised Neverland.
Okay.
Trip and I talked about this, but someone wants to talk about it again. So like we're kind of at a loss to what to say. But here we go. We're going to talk about The Promised Neverland like we never talked about it before, right?
Oh, well, I mean, not necessarily like we never talked about it before, but we're just going to this is like our gushing episode.
Okay,
because
for
it's
sure.
a good show.
Okay, for sure.
And it is something that people should watch. And I'm going to kind of give my takes on how the manga and the TV show compare to each other. You've just watched the TV show. Overall, I think that the people that are just watching the TV show have a really strong will, considering that there is manga out there that it's different enough that it's worth reading, even if you've seen the show. And I think that they do things they're both in really profound, shocking ways that aren't necessarily the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's good. I don't know, man. It's really, really good. Ads came out for it a while ago, like
promos and stuff,
like a year or so ago.
Hey man, this show's gonna be fucking an anime. And you're like, cool.
Yeah, I'm like,
whatever.
Oh, that's neat. That sounds kind of cool. And I was like, oh, that trailer looked really interesting. And then people commenting on it are like, holy fuck, we're getting it. This is gonna be so good. And then I looked it up and I found out why it's gonna be good. Like, oh, okay, I should read that.
We were actually this is funny, at Easter, when we were at a table or whatever. I was there with Sierra's younger brother and his new fiance. By the way, congratulations on your engagement,
Courtney.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. So we were sitting there and we just kind of talking just about bullshit. Like we ended up talking about like Twilight. But Courtney's mom was there. And Isaiah was telling me about what shows he's watching. He's like, oh yeah, we finished this show, started this show, blah, 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 like anime wise. And they're like, oh, we finished the Promised Neverland, and man, did we fucking like it? And I'm like, yeah. And then we just started kind of chatting back and forth, right? And then we were talking about, like, we were just kind of, saying stuff about what we think about Norman and, just kind of a bunch of stuff. And then I look up and Courtney's mom is just like looking at me with like the blankest, like, just like stare. And then she
like never heard you talk about anything?
Never heard about, like, she's just like, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I was like, how do I quickly describe what's going on? I'm like, yeah, so it's a show. I was like, it's this weird show about like, these kids on a farm who are being raised as cattle to be eaten by demons. And then she goes, oh yeah, okay, yeah, no, I follow. I was like, no, do you?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, for sure.
That's all you needed. Now I know everything else that you guys talked about.
It was super funny. Then she kind of looks at me. She goes like, do you watch those weird kind of shows that they watch? And I go, oh yeah, I watch a bunch of those weird shows.
She's like, so you're a part of the silly boy clown fiesta? Is that what I'm hearing here?
I was like, yeah, like I have a podcast, so. I have to. And she goes, "Oh, you have a podcast?" I'm like, "Yeah, we have a podcast. We review things." I was like, every now and then we go to
name one thing we've reviewed.
Promised Neverland.
Shit.
Like I was like, it's like sometimes we go to conventions, and then she goes, "Hey, maybe." She looks at Courtney and I go, "Maybe you guys should do that." Like like that way, them watching the shows seems less ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I get it. Because I mean, for us, it was kind of like you enjoy podcasting, you knew a lot about it, and for me, it was like, oh yeah, I've got nothing on my plate, and I do like talking to you about it. Sure, I'll do it on a show. I don't care.
But it was super
that's
funny.
So funny to think about. Like, oh, you guys should do it. That gives you a reason to watch these things.
To justify the dumb stuff we watch. But it was funny because I think we were talking about like, I mean, we'll talk about Norman later, but it was just like, how do you think you become, a mother? How do you think you become like a sister or whatever? And like then Isaiah asked like, how do you think you become like the grandma, like the head honcho or whatever?
Yeah.
And we're like, I don't know, maybe it's like whoever produces the most, like the smartest kids to be eaten or whatever. And someone says like, oh, maybe it's like who gave birth to the most amount of smart kids, And like again, Courtney's mom was like looking at us like, what the fuck's going on over here? It's like super confused.
Yeah, in the manga, it covers not necessarily all of that, but it covers some things about kind of how all of this is happening and why like the
structure and the organization of things, maybe.
Yeah, and how you learn more about the world, not much about it, but you learn more about it that kind of tell you how long this has all been going on and how it came to be exactly and whatnot. Since you could see that there is a human culture and like Ray keeps getting all these items from somewhere. So clearly there are humans out there.
And there's all these books. They're filled with some sort of information from somewhere, right? Yeah. It's not like it's all made up. There has to be something real out there for them to pretend this fake world,
So you do get some cool explanations of things like that through just different things that happen after the point in the show. So it is all kind of set, and it's really cool thinking about all the different stuff that could be out there and kind of like how this came to be and how there is that certain order in the farms, at least. Because when you're watching the Sister Crone flashback of her like training and growing up and everything, it's not just like one girl is selected for mom. It was a lot of girls.
Yeah.
And what we know from the show is that there are 5 farms.
Yeah, so there can't be more than 5 moms, right? At a time.
Yeah, so there are 5 moms with assistant moms or whatever. And then you do know that these kids or whatever, every once in a while get that opportunity to become a mother and go and do all that training and stuff, right? But there are so many. So you know that there's more out there.
Yeah.
But you're also like, well, how much more is there?
Well, yeah,
why?
And then later on, near the end of like the show, we find out like obviously like these kids they come from somewhere, so obviously someone has to bear these children, and then it makes sense like obviously it's the sisters or the people who've been chosen to. Why they're only moms or whatever? It's
they become moms.
They become moms. Yeah. It's like after they've had these kids that get sent to the fucking slaughterhouse. So it's just like. It's just so much wild information that you just like kind of don't really think about because the show's so well done. You're just like, huh, yeah. Obviously, there's structure here. Obviously,
it's got a really rich history.
Yeah,
in it.
And that's like the last thing on your mind because you're just enjoying the show. But then you
also
sit down and think about it.
There are demons, and these kids have to get out of it. And how do you get out of it?
Yeah.
But then, the parts that aren't discussed in the show because they're just thinking about survival, and you're like, how the fuck are they going to get out of here? It's also like, wait, how the fuck did all this come to be?
Yeah.
How the fuck is this still a thing that's going on?
Yeah.
Are there more humans out there? Is there a society of humans, or is this all just some kind of a demon game?
Or is it a simulation?
There are lots of options out there.
That option's probably the wrong one.
Yeah, that's probably the wrong one.
But that's an option.
It's definitely a fucked up Matrix. That's what this is. Actually, it's pretty crazy. Yeah, Emma comes out of it for a second.
She's bald. She has like fucking holes in the back of her head.
Yeah, she like falls 10 stories from her tub.
Yeah,
she doesn't know how to walk. Anyways. Yeah, no, really cool, rich show with all this mystery to it that it doesn't even address, but you know that it can, and it does at certain times. It's like, by the way, here's a little bit more information. You're like, fuck, I didn't know that I needed to know that, and now that I do know that, I need to know more about it.
And that's just like a great example of like, well done, like world building, like
and characters.
There's obviously something beyond what we get to see, but we don't like... I'm not worried to be like, when do I get to see it? Because I know it's there, right?
It's coming.
They're not just like pulling it out their ass. Obviously, like someone thought this out and they go, hey man, this is how everything works. And you get to see this little fucking peephole of it.
And man, every single time that I open up my manga book or whatever, and it has notes from the author and the mangaka, whatever.
Yeah, the artist.
Yeah. It's always like, hey, I hope you enjoyed my last book. I don't know if anyone caught, but I actually had like a bunch of hints about this thing that we'll learn about soon. So you could know about it if you did pay attention. Hey, also pay attention to the little scenes that are in between each chapter, because those are pretty important too. And if you did pay attention, it's like, okay, so you're putting riddles in the background here, my man. Like, I'm not paying attention to every detail in the background.
Make sure Emma's okay,
right? Like, I'll learn it when I learn it.
Yeah. What about
if you do pay attention, it's like, oh fuck, that's nuts.
Does the editor ever write anything, or is it just the mangaka and the writer?
I think it's just the two of them. Okay. Yeah,
I've seen books in the past where editors will make notes like, I'm the editor or whatever, because they become so involved with the actual like writing of the book.
Right.
Okay. So real quick, I guess if you haven't seen, fucking The Promised Neverland, and you're just over here being like super lost, well, that makes sense, right? Obviously, like the last 5 minutes make no sense to you,
right?
But like,
well, let's go back to the beginning.
Let's go back to the beginning. So in the beginning, we have these 3 kids, these main characters.
Emma, she's the spunky one. Norman, he's the hyper genius. Ray, he's the mystery genius.
Yeah. Well, okay. So Norman's the physically the best, right? Like physically the super fit, right? That's like
no, that's Emma.
But like, what's I thought Norman was also that. Like Norman's also super like just the best at like tag or whatever.
He's the mastermind.
Oh, he's the smartest.
Yeah, so he's the smartest and he's the mastermind. He knows everything that's going on.
Ray's also the smartest then?
Ray is the strategist. So he always thinks of like all these ways around things and he pushes people.
Okay.
Norman kind of pulls people towards him and like lets them flourish. And Ray really challenges people.
I get it, man. I get it. So Emma is Naruto. Fucking Norman is Sasuke.
Yep.
And then fucking Kakashi, because fuck Sakura, is Ray.
Yeah.
No, that's all bullshit.
Yep.
No, anyways, these 3 main characters are very smart. They're geniuses, right? They're kid geniuses.
And then very quickly we also learn all these kids are geniuses. Yeah, it's not just those. Like every little fucker in here is a crazy genius.
Yeah.
but we don't exactly know how or why. We just know that they do really well on these stupid, difficult tests that we wouldn't be able to pass.
Yeah, and then these 3 main characters are just the best out of all of them, right?
Yeah, best of the best.
So we quickly see that like they live in this like perfect world. They're orphans, obviously they live in an orphanage, but for the most part they're really happy, right? They play tag, they fucking do their tests, they get to eat, they have the love and comfort of their like pseudo mom, who they call mom, right?
Also, just a little throwback to Missing Link. My favorite line in that was, "Your utopia sucks." And I feel like this is appropriate for The Promised Neverland, where it is this like really nice little home.
Yeah.
And then it's like, "But your utopia sucks. You're just on a farm for demons."
So this is like the setup. This is like the beginning of the show, and we get to see that everything's super peachy and everything's great.
And then you're like, a little bit weird. They're geniuses doing tests. A little funky. Oh shit! They have barcode type things on their neck,
right? Yeah, it's like,
but they're numbers, not barcodes. But still,
super wild that these fucking kids are tatted up on their neck, right?
Yeah, you're like, man, these kids are hardcore. They're in a gang too. Yeah. Okay.
So I think within the first episode, we see we get revealed where they really are.
Yeah.
One of the girls that we get to meet is going to be adopted, right?
Yeah, they're all at an orphanage, and finally it's adoption day for Connie.
It's her like leaving day. What do they call it? They call it something. Her shipping day or something like that.
Well, yeah. That's after they find out. It's
her adoption day, right? So they get her all dressed up to the nines. She says goodbye to everybody, and they take her to the gates. And all these kids have been, trained to never go to the gate, right? Like that's just like, hey man, you don't go past this area. It's a forbidden area. So they're good kids. They listen. The little girl left behind her bunny, her stuffed bunny, and so Ray's like, hey, Norman says this, right? No, Ray says this. Hey, Ray. Ray goes, Norman, Emma, here's his bunny. You could probably still catch him, fucking go give her a fucking bunny. And
he's like, I'm not about to get caught out there at night. Fuck you guys.
And they're like, but man, like, we got to give her this bunny. So they go on a mission to give her the bunny because they're the best kids in the world.
Mostly Emma wants to, and then Norman's like, I don't know about that, but if you're going, I have to make sure that you don't get all caught and stuff.
Yeah, because you're hella dumb, even though you're hella smart.
Yeah.
And so they get out there and they go past the gate and they see the little girl's body in like the back of a car, like fucking dead.
Yeah, with a red flower in her heart.
Yeah, she's fucking dead for sure. And then we see, mom talking to these big monsters, right? And they lack of better words, are demons, right?
Like, they're demons.
And our characters are super smart enough to pick up on their conversation. They hear the word shipment and like next delivery and so blah blah blah, all this stuff.
Like, oh fuck.
And then when they get back to the house,
they also talk about like wanting to just like eat nibble off its finger or
just have a little bite or something, Yeah. So when they get back, because they escape because they're super smart, right? Yep. They get back to the house and they're very quickly able to like decipher that
they're like,
we're not orphans on this perfect farm. We're obviously cattle's on this farm.
Yep.
And we're being sent to slaughter. Like that's what they find out. And the first thought is we have to get out of here. Like,
and they have enough context through all the books and stuff that they've read over the years, so they do know like what farms are and what livestock is like.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
they're not idiots.
Yeah.
A lot of times, I have to like keep that in mind when I'm watching the show. Be like, all right, they're not dumb. Like,
because they are kids, and every once in a while, like even though they're having conversations that are like really in depth, it's also like, okay, well, a lot of TV shows kind of bend the belief of like, all right, I guess they're having this conversation at this age, whatever, that's fine. But yeah, each conversation that they have is like 4 layers of conversation. There's the surface level, there's what they're thinking about,
what they actually mean.
And then there's what they want other people to think. And it's like, what the fuck?
And I guess the way they get away with it is, them saying, hey, we're geniuses,
Yeah.
It's a very cool way for it to be like, okay, cool. Now I just don't even have to worry about it. I don't
essentially.
I don't have to fucking disbelieve anything. They're all geniuses. Great. They're smarter than I'll ever be. Their conversations, all these layers or whatever, it makes sense. And it's not something for me to like try to be like, I don't really believe the fact that this 8-year-old is like, no. We told you they're geniuses. Get over it.
And if it was all adults and they were supposed to be like geniuses or whatever, because if they were adults and they were regular adults, they would be terrified. Their plans would be sloppy. People would be dying left and right. This is more so they're weak because they're children. And how the fuck are some little kids going to get out of this? Even if they are geniuses, like, what are they going to do? If it's a bunch of genius adults, clearly they're all going to be super capable. So it's just going to be more action oriented than like psychological, you know?
Because they're adults, you know? Like, you're going to have to like ramp it up or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So the fact that they made them genius kids for us to just kind of like let our guard down and be like, okay, everything that they say is going to be good to me. And they could just have pretty much free range.
Yeah.
It's cool.
So that's the basic like premise of the show. Them trying to figure out how to escape. You know, our main character Emma's she's like a good girl, so she wants to escape with everybody.
Yeah, absolutely everyone. She doesn't want to leave a single kid behind, so that includes all the babies, even the brand new baby that just came the day after Connie left.
Yeah, and Norman, you know, being the smartest guy, is just like, well, that's probably not going to happen.
Right? Like, hey, Emma, realistically, we're going to have to leave some of the younger kids here. We have to make sure that it's only people that we trust, and we're going to try to save everyone that we can. Ideally, everyone, but
Emma's like, no, fuck you.
Yeah.
Like, we're saving everybody.
And Norman's like, hey, guess I got to save everyone. So,
I mean, it's very obvious very quickly that like Norman is obviously in love with Emma, right? Like, you know, they care for each other.
Yeah.
And, but he obviously cares for her like more. So like, he'll try to do anything to make her happy. So if like she wants everybody, you're going to get everybody. There's no way you're not getting out of here without everybody.
Nope.
That's like his his mentality or whatever. Like,
yeah. And then pretty quickly they bring Ray into the situation. They're like, listen, man, we saw some real fucked up shit out there, and here's what happened. And Ray just kind of fucking deals with it way better than they expected. He's like, oh yeah, no, that makes sense. They're like, wait, what? You just accept it that easily? And yeah, they essentially just sorry, we're having weird headphone issues, so it's really fucking with me here. I don't know what's going on. It's like anytime that you lean, shit gets all fucked up on me, Juan.
Sorry.
No, you're good. It's crazy. So anyhow, they bring Ray in on the situation, and he fully accepts everything and starts helping him out. And they're a little bit suspicious of why he would be doing this.
Yeah.
But they're still like, okay, whatever. He's on board. Let's fucking think about our next plan. We should tell everyone about this, right? And then very quickly that's like, whoa, hold your horses. We don't even know what's going on yet. We do know what's happening, but we got to make sure everyone's calm and make sure that we have a little bit of a plan. That way we could get other people involved with it without them blowing everything for us.
Well, what I really liked about this part too was that when they come to like, you know, talk to Ray about it to get him in on the loop, Ray's like, yeah, okay, cool. I believe you. And then he kind of says something like, I had a feeling there's something like that was going on, you know, because he's like, and I'm like, oh, that's right.
He looks sketchy as fuck too.
Yeah. He's like, that's right. You're also just as smart as we are, you know, like, and he's like, why would you guys lie to me? And then once he's a part of like the group, it's more grounded. Like there's more, we see the
trio,
the struggle, right? The struggle between the trio. Like one of them wants to take everybody out. Ray's like, it's just got to be the three of us. Norman's just like stuck in between the two of them. Is like, I want to make Emma happy, but I realistically also agree with Ray. Like, you know, so it's like there's where
we all have the best chance. If we have more people, there's way less of a chance that everyone's going to get out alive, and that's just going to make it harder for the three of us. And
you know, they even like reluctantly, again, like I said, Norman cares for Emma a lot, so he's just like, okay, we'll go with you. And he's like, well, we got to fucking start training these kids, which I thought was super fun. They start training them playing tag, right?
Yeah.
And they start doing like formations and stuff, and like
teaching them, this is how you follow people's tracks. It's not just about following tracks. It's also about covering your own tracks. You got to be fast. You got to be agile. You got to think quick. So we got to have squads. We got to have different kinds of communication.
You know, like nonverbal communications, hand signals and stuff. And the kids are just like, we're just playing a game. This is great. Like we're just playing awesome
just
tag.
Like really intense, cool tag.
Like dumb, smart kids, right? They're just like, oh, fucking, this is the best.
Well, because they're also all younger. These are the three oldest characters that we're following.
And I think they're like, what, 12? Like, they're like how old they are?
11, 12.
Okay, I think the next important thing that happens is we get
Sister Crone shows up.
Yeah, we get a new character. So it was hard enough trying to like hide themselves from Mom, who was like their overseer, right?
And they felt like Mom felt like something was up. She knew right away. She's like, okay, I'm a genius too. That's why I take care of all these geniuses and raise them.
Yeah.
Emma, you sure seem to be focusing on this. Like, what's going on? She's like, oh, you know, I'm just thinking about Connie and how much she like, you know, how much I miss her because we had so much fun together. And she sure is going to have fun with her family though. And like tries to make it positive, right? Yeah. And Mom's like, all right, I'm fucking on to you.
I don't trust you,
but I also understand if you're acting weird because, you know, your bro just left.
Didn't they find the bunny? Like that's how like they went to leave for the bunny and they left her under the truck, right?
Yeah.
So that's a big tip off as to like why
mom knows somebody did something.
Yeah, mom knows something happened, and mom's just like, well, just kind of like off the top of her head, realistically, it's probably one of the smartest kids we got, right?
Yeah.
And she even purposely like brings out her like her compass or her clock or her timer or whatever to show that like, oh, there's some sort of tracking device. So there's like a lot of things that are like, they're picking up stuff.
She's trying to be like, I know what's going on, fuckers.
Yeah.
Don't mess around.
Yeah. And then they bring in Sister Crone as like as an assistant. So an extra pair of eyes, right? And she gets told about the situation, like, hey, I think, a couple of kids have found out the truth. Help me scope them out. Like, and she's like, and I'll help you get closer to, becoming a mom like you want to.
Meanwhile, mom's like, I actually have it all under control. You're just a diversion for me.
Mm-hmm.
Not even like, hey man, this is a very important thing. We got to figure this out. She knows who it is.
So the sister is like involved with the kids pretty quickly. She shows how intense she can be. She shows that how physically strong she is, and how she's like not someone to mess with. She is a little unhinged in the show, and we talked about this, how in the manga it doesn't really come off that way.
This is the first part, because overall the show and the manga have been similar, like slight differences. There are a lot of parts in the manga that kind of just show like, hey, this is the demons and they killed people, and then it shows like everyone is dead, and it shows all these different things that aren't necessarily things that are happening, but it's some really cool in between shots for like chapter titles and whatnot. And it has a little scene play out where the demons are talking around a table about their dinner, and it's all like nicely prepared, and clearly they're higher up lord type things. And it was just such a weird scene out of context that was in the show. I think this was around when Sister Crone was introduced. But then when we do see Sister Crone kind of have her internal monologue moment of the show, it's not internal. She's actually talking it out with a doll that she has, and she's going a little bit crazy. Meanwhile, in the manga, she felt like she was very well put together, just super intense and intimidating and scary. Because everyone had a ton of internal monologue being like, okay, so this is what's happening. And that's why, like the things that they're saying are different from the things that they're thinking. They'll be like, I have to do this, otherwise this will happen. They have a conversation and that slightly changes. You could see that they're trying to like accomplish their goal. And they do say like, oh, what? But what about this thing that I just thought about? And then very quickly it's rebutted with, yeah, I already thought about that. Here's some other stuff.
Yeah.
And then you get to quickly see like, they're able to think on the fly and explain these things. But at the moment, they're like, this is the solution I'm going to find, so I'm going to work hard on refining that. And other people are like, that one might be too weak. We're going to go for this one. And I really like seeing that internal monologue versus what's going to be actually happening in the manga. In the TV show, it's a lot more like, let's do this. No, we shouldn't do that because of this reason. Let's do this instead. Instead of the reason behind like the first one of like, oh, if we do all these things, then this should be able to work out perfectly. I don't see any reason it wouldn't work out.
Yeah.
And things are just brought up a little bit differently in the manga than they are in the show because of internal monologue, and it made Sister Crone seem a lot crazier in the show.
Yeah, no, I for sure agree. I mean, I don't have any like context of seeing her in the manga.
Yeah.
But in the show, she for sure seems really unhinged. Like, the conversation with this really creepy stitched together doll doesn't boast well for her mental, stability or whatever.
And I think this was probably the fault of somebody who, clearly everyone appreciates the manga for what it is, and they want to make the best that they can with it. And they felt like Sister Crone was such a scary character in the book. How can they make her so scary in the show?
How can they make her more scary?
And it was easy to make her more like a horror character versus like just a huge threat.
Yeah, she felt really like a Jason Voorhees, like unstoppable force, like the way she ran, and like just a lot of things about her felt really unsettling. I liked her though as a character. She's really cool.
She was cool, especially with her end bit too.
And then we, while this is also happening, the idea of there being like a mole kind of arises, right? Like that's that somebody within the group of kids has to be helping mom, right? Like she can't keep an eye on everybody. Someone has to be feeding her some sort of information, So this is also happening while Sister Crone has been introduced to the fucking mix. I think they also decide to tell a couple other kids, right?
So they started, after they kind of figured out the whole situation with the spy and whatnot, they're like, all right, well, we got to get Dawn and Gilda. Or no. Dawn and Gilda were already a part of it, I think. But they just got brought in, and they were like, here's the plan. this is where we hid the stuff.
Yeah, but they weren't told the full truth. They were told a lie. They were told that
human trafficking.
It's human trafficking. They didn't get told the demon part because they didn't want to scare them.
Yeah. Also, to make it more believable, human trafficking's a lot more believable than we're food for demons.
And then I mean they were also worried that the demon idea might be too far fetched, right? And the human trafficking thing upset them just as much as like, hey, we're actually being eaten, as opposed to like being sold to some people to be doing some other things. Because Dawn was just like, well, they made him really sad to know that Connie isn't actually with the family, right?
Yeah,
she's God knows where, but that idea in their
still
mind
alive.
Was better
She's
than
like, we have to get out there and rescue them.
It's absolutely
versus we have to get out there to survive.
Yeah,
you know, it's a little bit more. I'm doing this for my friends, and I'm doing it for me too. I'm doing it for the betterment of everything. Versus I'm doing this so that we don't fucking die. Yeah. It's a bigger drive, I think.
So so they get brought into the fold, and then they get tested also because, like I was saying, like there's a mole within them.
So they're all told different locations for where some rope is. Rope, rope and something else.
Something they've been working on, Norman, being the smartass that he is, right, finds out who the mole is, which blew me away. I think this was like episode 3 or 4, something like that.
Yeah, it was episode 3, and then it ends. And I asked you after you had watched it, I'm like, hey man, what do you think? So, what do you think he is?
And I was like, what the fuck, right? So essentially, what happens is Norman accuses Ray of being the mole, and Ray just like kind of looks at him like very like insidiously or whatever, and then it just kind of cuts, and I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, is he? Isn't he? And then I'm sitting there being
even though they like very clearly were just like, it's fucking you.
I fucking know it's you, right? And I'm just like, nah, man, it can't be my boy, because I like Ray, right? You know,
Ray's cool. He's a little edgelord, but he's also like smart as fuck, so it's okay.
But then I was like, well, but edgelord could be the fucking mole. I was like, nah, he couldn't be the mole. Why would he? You know, so it's like, it was really
a lot of back and forth.
That was one of my favorite, twists or reveals that we got pretty soon. I was like, okay, cool, there's a mole, and it's fucking Ray, right?
That was the first big twist for you, you know.
And I really enjoyed it. It turns out Ray is in fact the mole, right? Like
who would have thought?
He fesses up to it. He's like, yeah, fuckers, I'm the mole. Get over it, bitch. You know, like, he goes like, it's not my fault. You guys are so dumb. I've known for a long time. And they're like, how long, Ray? And he goes, a long time. Like, he's like, he's known this and he's kept this, you know, information to himself. And then they actually feel bad for Ray. There's like, can you believe that? Like,
he had to suffer through this all alone.
Like, he knew that all his friends were actually going to be sent out to be eaten or whatever. And you and I just found out about this at the age of 12. At what age did Ray find this out? You know, like, and then they're like, oh man, this is super shitty or whatever, you know. And I think Emma and Norman talk about it, and they go, yeah, even though Ray's the mole, we still want him to be with us. If we escape, we want him to come along. Like, we can forgive that because, like, we care about him or whatever. He had no other choice.
Exactly. And also, clearly, he's really smart. He was doing this for his own survival. Now he could be a tool to us. Now that we're all a part of it, he just needs to keep this part secret, keep getting information for us, and then we're going to be good to go.
And then feeding false information when he can, you know. And so that's kind of like this the plan moving forward. Like, this is what we'll use him as a mole. He's a tool, right? We'll deceive fucking mom. We'll somehow get around Crone. And then Crone also comes forward and just like, hey man, you guys want to fucking work together? You know, because
after a little bit, she's like, all right, mom's she's fucking with me. I don't know what's going on, but clearly you guys know what's up. I have to play both sides right now. If I'm on their side, I can give them up. But also, fuck mom. Yeah. And then I could overthrow mom and I could become the mom here.
Yeah, she's playing this really like this very the in-between vote. She's a swing vote, essentially. She's like,
and she's playing her own game hard.
Yeah, she's like, her end goal is to become a mom. And she's trying to figure out which one of these situations, which one of these teams can really help me get to that goal, you know, the most effectively. And she chooses to work with the kids, which I thought was pretty surprising.
Well, because if you have more people working for you, the better you could do, versus mom, who they already hate and they don't like Crone, but she also is new, so she can flip sides. So it was just such a cool dynamic to see, oh fuck, Crone's fucked up. And then she's like, hey, so you know about all this shit, right, guys? And, like, and they're like, we don't know shit. And he's like, fuck you guys.
I heard you guys say these words, and they go, ooh, okay, that's kind of damning right there.
Yeah, you did find out, you caught us. Okay, so what's next? And she's like, let's work together. I'll tell you anything that you want to know, and in exchange, I ask for nothing. Yeah. But if you guys want to help me out, that's also cool.
Yeah, like, okay, cool. So, again, this other piece of the puzzle is brought this new tool, this new thing they have to work with. And they work pretty well with Crone, right? Like, they use her in a way that I didn't think I didn't realize until later in the show, like, how she was used, right?
Yeah.
I thought they were just using her on one level, but later on we find out that there's this level underneath it, right? But we'll get to that point.
Whole show. That's what I fucking love about this, is that you're seeing it kind of at its face value, and then afterwards you're like, oh my gosh, but it was so beautiful inside too. Not only was it really cool, it was even cooler.
Yeah. So to continue the story, I think this crone dies, right? Like crone gets killed.
Yeah. So essentially the kids talk to crone, and they like try to feed false information and ask stuff that they already know the answer to, and do different things. And the kids purposefully plan all this shit where they let crone know certain information that they pretended like they didn't want her to know. And then at that point crone's like, all right, guys, anything else? And they're like, no, thank you very much. Have a very good night. And she's like, by the way, I know all this shit. Calls him out right then and there for doing all those mistakes. And they're like, oh, fuck, she knows. But really, they're like, no, we're smarter than her. Okay, come on. So yeah, this whole time they're planning everything. And then suddenly mom's like, hey, crone, good news. You're being transferred again. You're going to be mom. And she's like, what? So quick? I'm going to be a mom now?
It's like, yep, you fucking did it. You're the most capable to become a mom. And she's like, okay. And then crone, being also not an idiot, goes, I don't fucking trust you.
Right.
So she leaves
she's like, hey, I have these special things that I got a long time ago. You keep these. Yeah. This will help you.
She leaves behind some things, and then she goes to, be given her promotion, only to be met by like a demon. And he's like, well, fuck.
Grandma and a demon.
And explains like, yep, it's time for you to die. Sorry. Them's the breaks, right? So crone gets killed, which I thought, again,
on screen.
Yeah, super surprised. I was like, oh, wow, look at her death. Gone, right? This doesn't deter the kids. They have to still keep on pushing, right? And they start testing the limits of like them trying to get past the fucking barrier, right? The place where they're not supposed to go, the forbidden zone or whatever.
Yeah, so they're collecting items and they're making sure that they have their full plan in force. And
it sounds pretty good. Like they got a rope, they're gonna climb the thing, and they're gonna get to freedom, or wherever the freedom is. And this is a problem because they need someone to distract mom. So they use Ray. Like Ray's like, okay, cool, I'm the mole. I'll fucking tell her about this. Like, they were used like some false information about them using like cleaning products to do something or whatever to poison her, right? And then he's like, okay, cool. While this is happening, Don and Gilda will be keeping an eye out, and then like we'll be trying to get over the wall. And like
it was all perfectly planned.
Yeah, only to find out the fucking mom's just like, hey, by the way, you're fired. Like, you're no longer my mole. Yeah. I'm sorry. This has gone as long as...
What? But I have really useful information for you. Like, yeah, you always have, and you probably always will. But honestly, we're done.
You're done. And then she locks him in the room, and then mom looks at her fucking watch. She's like, well, looks like I gotta go fucking find some fucking bitches,
Time
right?
to bust some heads.
Bust some heads. And then Don and Gilda run after Norman and... what's her name? Emma, right? Yeah. To warn them. And this part really fucking, this whole bit really fucked me up, because I was like, oh my God, like I'm so nervous for these pretend characters or whatever.
It's a race against time. They're getting ready. They're about to boost up to the top of the wall. They're going as fast as possible. And then right when they're there, they kind of get caught by mom. And I think it was Norman just fucking chucks the bag into a bush, or maybe it was Emma, but they chuck the bag of rope into a bush really quick before mom shows up. And then they start having a conversation really quick.
And it's a conversation where it's like they're not mincing words or anything. It's just like, hey, come on, guys, we know what's going on here, right? Like, like don't fuck with me. I'm just as smart as you. Like, and they're like, we don't know what you're talking about. Like, okay, guys, come on. Like, let's not play around.
Like, let's be open. My name's Mom.
Yeah.
Your name's Emma.
Yeah.
This is the first time we get to meet its people.
This is who we are. Like, let's I don't have to pretend to be anybody. Like, I'm being who I really am. Like, look.
I'm Isabella. Yeah. Please.
I know the situation here. Like, you know what it's like. Like, you guys know that you guys are here for a reason. And I think you guys should just kind of go with the flow. Like, like, just let it be. Let it ride.
She's like, I'm just trying to give you the best life that you can get, man.
Yeah.
Because after this, you're done.
You're done. So why have this fucking back and forth? Why try to escape? It's not worth it. Just
try to be happy till the end.
Yeah, just give up. And Emma's like, fuck you, I'll never give up. And mom's like, okay, cool.
breaks.
Really quickly, she's like going for the robe. And she's like, Norman, take it.
Yeah.
And then mom just breaks her leg.
Oh,
really fast.
Breaks her leg, like really fucking bad. And she's like, oh, sorry, had to break your leg. Don't worry, it'll heal in a few months.
It was really clean. Yeah. You're not going to have any lasting problems.
No, you won't limp. You won't
precise as fuck.
It was a solid break. Oh, by the way, Norman, you're being shipped out tomorrow.
And you were just like, wait, hang on. You just did all of that in one episode? What the fuck are you doing to me?
Yeah.
What is this show? So then we pick up. Emma is bedridden. Mm-hmm. She's talking to Norman Ray. And Norman's going to be shipped out the next day.
Yeah. And then
it's a really sad goodbye.
It feels very glum because
everything's hopeless.
Ray and Emma are very adamant, like, hey, Norman, just escape, destroy the fucking tracking device.
Immediately just like, we have everything that you need in order to escape for a bit, and then we'll meet up later, and everyone will just all go. You could hide. It'll be great.
They're like, just hide in the forest, destroy the tracking device, and then we'll just, when we escape in a couple months or whatever, my leg heals, we can just, you meet up with us or whatever. And Norman's like, guys, it's not gonna happen. You guys don't know this, but he made it to the fucking to the top of the.
I went alone. I went to the top of the wall. I saw it.
It's a fucking cliff. It's huge. There's just this massive gap between the wall and the other side. And just and it really.
And then he's there, and he crawls down, and then mom's waiting for him. She's like, "All right, come on back.
You saw it. Come on now.
Yeah, you're gonna leave. What harm does it do, anyways?"
Yeah, and it feels very defeated. You're just like, oh my gosh. Norman's spirit just feels like the way he's drawn, the way he's acting and saying stuff. It just feels like, guys, this is it, man. This is
this is the end.
This is it.
This is the end of all ends.
I think he's being shipped. Ray's not even there to say goodbye. Emma tries to make a scene or whatever.
Yeah.
And Norman's like, yo, fucking pick your shit up. None of this, I'm out of here. I love you, bitch. He's got to go and people Emma's crying, and it's weird because the other kids are like, yo, he's fucking leaving to go do his be with the family. Why aren't they don't understand where the actual weird feeling vibes for Emma's going. And so he gets shipped away, and he gets sent to he gets taken to the gate or whatever. And this is the big part, a big part where there's a lot of questions and speculations is exactly what happened to Norman.
So he goes to where people die.
Yeah.
And he's brought into a room.
A side room we'd never seen before.
And we don't see an on-screen death.
Yeah.
That's the part of the show that I think was a little bit different than the manga. I don't remember for sure what happens in the manga. If I went to the page, maybe. But in the manga, to me, it felt a lot more like, all right, he's there, he's gone.
Yeah.
And it doesn't show what happens. It doesn't show it on screen. It doesn't show it in the book for a while.
Yeah.
Right. And in the show, they bring him into a room, which I feel like is purposefully supposed to make you be like,
what's going on?
Is he actually dead? What's happening?
Yeah.
Where in the manga, it's like, oh, he's fucking dead. But we didn't see him. So it's a little bit more
it feels more
it's more like he's dead. There's a chance he's not, but he's dead. That's probably what happened
in the anime. It's for sure. It gives you more of the maybe vibes. We didn't see it happen.
Yeah, exactly.
There's this extra room. What's going on? And you and I talked about this, right? And I asked you at that point in time, do you know what's happened? And you go, nope, haven't seen it.
No, I honestly, in the manga, it didn't show anything. It just shows some flashes of Norman here and there from the perspective of other characters. Like Ray's on top of the wall. He sees Norman for a second. And then Emma is the last one up there. And she sees Norman for a bit too. And they just kind of have these moments where they feel like Norman's still around, even though he's not. And you get that feeling of, this is for sure not actually real. Norman's not there.
It feels very dream sequency.
Exactly. But in the manga, they give you a lot of those shots of Norman's dead. There's stuff through his heart, and you see him dead, and a lot of different pictures and whatnot is the focal point of the end of a chapter is just showing him dead, on top of a rose or something like that, where it's clearly fantastical and it's not something that actually happened.
Yeah.
But it definitely gives you more and more imagery of Norman is dead, Norman is dead, Norman is dead. And it's not necessarily they're trying to drive that home as a fact. They're just showing
more
you
a feeling. This
is what the people are feeling. This is what it's in their minds and whatnot. And I liked that because the whole time I'm still thinking he's dead, but he might not be because he's Norman. So I don't know, maybe he could have gotten taken off and he could be a dad or something like that. But then again, maybe they offered it to him and killed him or whatever it is because he said, fuck you guys. you never really know what there is, what's going to happen. Maybe he does think the same way that mom thinks. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to be a dad because I want kids to have the best life and I'll have more control in this position of power, whatever position it winds up being.
Yeah.
Or he's a sperm donor is the thing that we talked about a little bit too.
Yeah.
And he just winds up being, since he has such good genes in him.
They like, well, yeah, it's such like a stud. Like, you know, when you get a good like cow or whatever, you're just like, or a good bull, you're just like, well, this bull is worth a lot of money, and he's only worth a lot of money because he can produces really good semen, right? Because of his genes, which is like a real thing, right? Like, you know, that's like that's how cattle they're fucking and animals are used, like they're breeding, they're used to breed. So when later on,
since they're on a farm, it just felt like it really fits felt, the theme of it,
which is something I really didn't think about until later. Well, just like, and it didn't really come to me until we'll see later on. There's like a reveal that, like, you know, that the moms are actually people who also bear children, you know.
And well, we get to see Sister Crone's past a little bit, and she clearly has something implanted in her chest that'll explode if she goes off the farm. She kind of explains that a little bit, and she was trained amongst all these other people, and it showed her pregnant for a second, and then it continued past.
But this idea that, like, well, like they have to get the semen or the sperm from somewhere, right? And I was just like, because, you know, that's how things work, you know, you just can't they just can't magically be pregnant because they're making these babies, and if they're the ones making the babies, it's like, well, they're genius, you know, they're picking the best girls to breed, right? Maybe they're picking the best boys to, you know, produce their sperm, right? So that's like, that's where my head went, thinking about it like logically. Again, there's no backing to it because I haven't read the manga and it hadn't been revealed yet. And in the anime, again, hadn't seen him physically die. And those scenes where he is there for like a split second, you know, you see him in the anime, in the manga, like he's just kind of there. In the anime, he actually, there's like conversations happening back and forth, you know, like they talk to each other. So it's very clear that, like, he's not there, but these are conversations that the characters are having within themselves, and they're just projecting, you know, Norman there. Yeah, it's really well done in my opinion. Because for a bit I was like, is he right? No, he's not there. I was like,
it definitely fucks with you for a second.
Yeah. So anyways, Ray gets taken away, and we've talked about what we think. What I think. I don't think he's dead. I think he's being used to procreate, whatever, to reproduce. That's what I think. He might be dead. Who knows? That'll be in a later season if we get there, right? To find out.
Yeah, you should be able to see it in the second season, I think.
To see what actually happens.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
there's some upcoming story arcs because the show changes.
Yeah, there's time jumps, right?
Not many. Yeah. Not really. It goes through a week pretty quick, stuff like that. Also, I mean, at the end of the first season is the biggest time jump where it's like, all right, it's been 3 months.
Yeah. Okay. So,
but that's, I think, the biggest time jump. Yeah.
Okay. So now that Norman's gone, and we don't know what his fate is, the two other characters
they're left
just
without,
assume that, hey, he's dead, right? That's all they could know. They don't have this other information or
just
context
no
yet.
hope. He's dead.
So they're just kind of slumping it for the next, I don't know, 2-3 months because Emma's leg's healing and she's just defeated. Ray just looks like he's about to just fucking off himself at any minute. Like, they just both look horrible, and it's kind of felt inside, like around the orphanage. Like, people look at them and they're like, they seem something's off, right? Like, they're not their happy-go-lucky self.
And then it ends an episode with like, hey, Emma, you didn't really give up, right?
Yeah.
She's like, fuck no. Yeah. You're like, oh shit. Oh, we going in it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go, Emma. Woo, team's back.
And
fuck yeah.
And that episode ends too with it being announced that Ray's his shipping day is coming up too. Yep. Like, it's time for Ray to go.
Hey man, you're gonna be the next boy.
And so the episode ends with Ray being like a sad boy and being like, "Oh, it's fucking, I'm just sad." And he asked Emma, "Yo, you didn't give up?" And I was like, "Nah, fuck." She's like, "What the fuck would
I've had a plan the whole time, idiot.
Bitch, look at me. I'm Emma, dog." And then, we get to see, I think is it the last 2 episodes that this happens, or this is the very last episode that we just see all this kind of come to fruition?
It's the episode before the last one is the conversation in the night and the escape begins. The second one is the escape, or the last episode is the escape, but that episode is the escape begins.
Okay, so
so it ends after the house.
Yeah, so what happens is Emma quickly runs through all the stuff that Ray has been missing, right? Because Norman, even though he's gone, left behind a plan. Like, this is, hey Emma, this is the situation. this is how you're gonna fucking solve it, you know. And so what they start doing is they start getting other kids involved, right? They bring in kids who, not all at once, but kids who they think are also smart and able to understand the situation. By this time, Dawn and Gilda have been told the truth, right? They're not like it's not human trafficking. They're on a farm, right? And they bring some of them to be listening to Sister Crone, talking about what's going on, right?
Yeah, you see behind the scenes.
Like behind the scenes, like they're actually behind the door and they're like, okay, listen to her say it, And while, all this, the sad times happening, they're training, they're collecting supplies, things that they're going to need to traverse this giant cavern or whatever, this giant fucking hole that no one, that seemed insurmountable at first, right?
Essentially, Norman's like, hey guys, so at the very front, it looks like the only way out is actually just like this one way. It's a choke point. There's nothing else we could do.
Yeah.
Unless this fucking thing happens. But you don't get that unless for a little bit. It's just like, this is the one way you got to go. It's going to be dangerous. It'll be fucked up. But hopefully you can make it out.
The idea is that essentially, since like all their farms are connected, right?
Yeah.
They share walls. They think, well, they're going to expect us to run on top of the walls and then make it for whatever the main entrance, main exit is.
Because so that's the only way out.
Realistically, right?
Yeah.
But they actually discover like, hey, there's this ledge here that's like
a little bit further, a little bit safer.
If you guys practice enough, you could probably safely throw some stuff over, right? And make some sort of zip line, right? And get over. And that's what they do. They fucking practice and practice, fucking... Dawn starts throwing shit, starts fucking working on the arm.
In the background, he's just like chucking.
And then he starts, they're geniuses, right? They're figured out. They get really good at what they're doing. They get these coat hangers and start zip lining and practicing, and they're ready to fucking go, and
making bottle rockets. Yeah. And that's my favorite thing is that earlier on, I'm like, the kids have the bottle rockets.
Yeah.
Oh, that foreshadowing's great, running around with clothes hangers and bottle rockets.
They're just playing, right? They're just having a good time.
Yeah,
no,
that's what it looks like.
Shit. It's all business. So then we see what's going on. So she explains like, yeah, well, you're gonna have to. Ray says his plan. Ray says his plan was always to make his brain the best.
He's like,
right?
I gotta learn the most. I gotta be the best, juiciest piece of ass there is. Then I'm gonna light myself on fire and ruin the product. Yeah, fuck them.
Because the best part of the human is the brain, right? So he's figured that the smarter my brain is, the tastier it'll be. So the biggest fuck you would be to kill himself so they can't even use the brain, right?
Yep.
So Emma says that's a dumb idea. Fuck that. So she cuts off a little bit of his ear. They have some like hair and clothes and stuff so they can burn it inside the chapel. I think it's a chapel, right?
And meat. Yeah,
and meat to make it smell like a human. So
I think it's a classroom, maybe.
Yeah, but it's so when mom shows up, she's like, "Oh fuck, Ray's in there. He lit himself on fire. He's covered in butane or whatever. I don't know what the fuck to do." And then mom, being the genius, goes like, "Oh my god, I gotta at least save his fucking brain, right? Like, I had to I can't,
People were like, fuck, mom's cold," but also it's a matter of, because at this point, I think, no, maybe it's the next episode. But yeah, you're just like, nope, she goes straight for the brain. She doesn't even care about the kid living or dying or anything.
She's like, I have to preserve that at least because she knows what his worth is. Like, my God, he's got to be delicious. He's going to be worth so much money. I can't lose this piece of product.
Yeah.
Only to fucking also find after, that there's no actual body there. Emma has cut off her entire ear, right?
Yep.
And left it behind because that's where the tracker is.
Yeah, and she couldn't do it cleanly because she did it to herself.
Yeah, so
she did it to Ray, so she was able to do it a little bit better. But yeah, she just chunked off her whole ear.
So then they're escaping, and then we see it all happen, like, how they're using the bottle rockets and using the throwing and the zip lining to get across. And Ray's like, holy shit. He has one of those moments where he's like, Norman thought of everything. This is fucking amazing. I can't believe this.
Also, this was just beforehand, the whole house is on fire. Mom comes out. She's like, fuck, the kids are escaping.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I got to go do something about it. Like, I don't know where they're escaping, but they have to. And then she's looking around. She's like, oh, fuck. What about the babies?
Yeah.
And then turns around, is about to go in and get them. And Phil, our motherfucker that we haven't mentioned once, who's actually the main character of the show, he rolls up. He's a little 4-year-old kid.
It's like, Mom.
Yeah, he's like, hey, Mom, don't worry. All the babies are over there.
Yeah.
We're all safe.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no. Yeah. So that's how that episode ends. Which is fucking wild because the whole time the show was going on, I was like, man, fuck Phil. Okay, something's up with Phil. He's a fucking demon.
Yeah,
I don't like the way he smiles.
Showing up and he's creepy.
And then again, the whole idea that they're geniuses. I'm like, well, I don't fucking trust him. Okay, he's too smart for his own fucking good.
Yeah. They're like, Phil's the spy.
And he shows up and he gives him the dumb Phil smile or whatever. And you're just like, what's going on here? Only to find out the next episode that, so this has been thought through. You know, they find Phil because out of all the kids, the younger,
Phil's the smartest.
Out of all the kids, I think it's below 5, right? So 4 years. Phil's 4
and under.
4 and under. Phil is way smart. At one point, they thought he might have been the mole. That's how smart he is, right?
Yeah, he's a fucking genius.
So they go up to Phil and like, look, we have to tell Phil because he'll understand.
We need somebody. And then they come up and tell him, they're like, hey, man, so...
we're on a farm, bro.
This is the way it is.
We're
I'm
cattle,
really sorry.
dog.
And he's like, oh, yeah, I wondered. That makes so much sense because of your reaction with Norman, and you guys were acting shady around all these times and
then
whatnot.
Crone
They're like,
said this.
Yeah. And the main characters are just standing there like, Phil... you son of a bitch.
Fuck, yeah.
Okay. Yep. We made a... wow, you're really smart, man. I bet all of you are really smart. We really underestimated like everybody constantly.
I mean, you do. I guess you know you don't really think about it. But anyways, so they confide in Phil. Phil instantly says, "Well, yeah, no, I know, I agree. These are bad things." And the decision.
Yes, I'm 4 years old. That's terrible.
Yeah.
I don't want to face a fate like that.
The decision has been made by Norma and accepted and approved by fucking Emma. That hey, the kids under 4 have to stay. Like, there's no way they can bring them all. As much as she wants to take them, realistically, she can't. You have to stay behind. But they do figure, well, we leave Phil in charge. Make sure everybody stays okay, because it's going to take a while for them to harvest again. Like, they can't just harvest them off as little kids. It's not good meat, right? It's not like veal. Like, they're not, they have
like,
to mature.
We have at least 3 years.
Yeah, they said
what they said. Or something like
I
that.
think it's 2 years. Like, we will be back within at least 2 years. Like, because by then there's like harvesting happens again, And so Phil's like, yeah, cool, you go. I'll hold the fort down here. Like, that's nothing. That's all I can do.
Yep.
Because now this means that now mom can't just like abandon these kids in the fucking woods, right? She's like, I have to still stay here and take care of them, because there's this product, right?
Yeah.
She still goes after the other people, but she can't grab them all and still there's the idea like she's stuck there essentially. And then they have Emma and her have this moment on the wall and just like, yeah, what are you gonna do, bitch? Go fuck yourself. Yeah, like, and I think before that we didn't. I don't know if we mentioned it too.
We haven't yet.
Yeah, I think mom talks to Emma and tries like, I think it's when he breaks her, like convince her like, hey, you're really good material. You could probably be a mom like me. Tries to, and Emma's like, I would never do that. Like, you and I, completely different people.
Yep.
And so she leaves. And then we get the reveal of like, mom's backstory, right?
Yeah.
Which I really liked. I thought it was really well done.
It's awesome. Yeah. So we do see a flash when Norman went up to the top of the wall. We see some other little girl that was up there, and we're kind of led to believe that must be mom. Mm-hmm. She comes down and she meets with grandma, and grandma brings her back. And then we get to see some backstory of mom, and she had a love interest. She had Leslie, who's this boy who played the lute or mandolin, and he like made his own music, and she loved it, and she hummed it and remembered him. He got shipped off. She had the opportunity to become a mother. So she did. And she's, doing her hardcore training and everything. And when she's pregnant, she does hum Leslie's song, just kind of as comfort. Mm-hmm. And eventually she gets her own home. And her goal was to give kids the best possible life that they could have. Mm-hmm. She wants them to all feel like they're so loved and that they have the best opportunity and can live the longest possible. Clearly that can't happen for everyone there, but she wants to give people the longest, best lives possible. Mm-hmm. Because she got an opportunity to do that. So hopefully she could raise kids that are good enough to do that too. Anyways, so she has a lot of drive behind it. And then we find, we see a little flashback to Ray, who's known everything. He said he remembers even being in utero. So he remembers just everything in his life, essentially. As soon as he had a functioning brain, he memorized everything. And it shows him, and he's reading a book and humming a song. And mom's like staring at him like, what the fuck? How do you know that song? And he's just like, I've just known it forever. And she puts 2 and 2 together of like, shoot. He's known everything since being in my stomach. Yeah. Since being in my uterus. Everything is, it's craziness, man. So Ray is mom's child.
Yeah.
And clearly there's some extra little bit of sensitivity there with Ray being really aggressive towards mom, but also that's why he's the spy. And there's so many different reasons behind all of it. Yeah. It's pretty cool to see.
And then, mom, we have this flashback and then mom is still on the wall, right?
Yeah, she's staring at Emma. She lets her hair down.
Yeah. And the kids go away. She's like, you know what? She's like, fucking run,
Yeah.
Good luck. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's kind of, it's almost like a good for you guys, clap, happy for you guys.
So then Emma takes off. They disconnect their ropes and they're just like kind of flailing in the wind. And mom tries to get rid of the evidence for them.
Yeah.
So that way they can't be tracked as easily.
That's how they did it. Yeah. Which is fucking, hats off to mom for being like, yeah, you're a bad person, but you're also a good person. It's weird. It's just weird.
Yeah. She clearly doesn't think they're bad people. She's just like, well, I'm going to die. Hopefully they can make a change in this world.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, essentially. I mean, and then people, we breezed over and people might be asking, where are they going? We do have kind of these clues. They've found within the library that there's like somebody's been writing like
William Minerva.
Yeah, been writing these like secret messages or whatever. So when they get out to whatever the world is, they have someone to look for, right?
Yeah.
But they don't know exactly who it is. They don't know what the status of the world is. They don't know.
Did we find out about the pen yet in the show?
They were given a pen. We don't know what the pen does at all, though.
Okay, so they didn't show you anything about the pen in the show. The whole next plot point is like continuing off in the show is figuring out what the fuck is this pen that Crone gave us? Who is William Minerva? And can we actually get to safety?
Yeah. So it's a lot of stuff. But that's how the show ends, right? That's the end of
the show.
First season.
First off, I also want to go ahead and say the show opens with such compelling scenes and everything. And then it plays the intro song, I think, at the end of the first episode. And it's a fucking great intro. It's got some crazy saxophone. It's dope. The outro is also really good. Really good imagery in both. And then a little bit more than halfway, I think it's at the Norman point of the show, they changed the outro to be a little bit different. They changed the song and it still fits really well. And they just did such a good job overall with the entire feeling of the show being encapsulated at the intro and the outro for different kinds of emotions. Of like, the beginning is like, we're fighting against this. We are fighting for everything that we have. And the outro is a little bit more like, we don't know what's out there. We're just dealing with what we have to deal with.
Yeah, day at a time. The show's great. Like the way it looks is amazing. I feel like they do a good job of like trying to keep that manga style, whatever the style is, true to it. Because, when you draw something, it looks great on paper. Sometimes it doesn't translate well to like animation.
No, if you put it in like 3D, for example, some things look like trash.
Yeah, but they were able to still keep it true to the manga from what I've seen, like the stills. I'm like, and it looks very like this stylized. It has this Promised Neverland style to it. Like the way it
absolutely. Looks. Their faces are a little bit squished into their face. Which looks a little bit weird, but it looks good.
Yeah, it's for sure very, very pretty the way it looks. Colors are great, animation's great. Even fucking CloverWorks kills it. Honestly, everything they've done so far has been positive in my eyes. Right? They're building this great repertoire. So far they haven't given me anything where I'm just like, you know what? Fucking dud. Like I can't say that from them. And I hope they continue to to produce just this amazing quality of work. And I really hope that when the second season comes, it's them. It's not like, hey, guess what? JC Staff picked it up, because CloverWorks doesn't want to do it anymore.
CloverWorks hasn't done any sequels yet that I'm aware of. So
so like fingers crossed, right?
But they did announce, hey, we're fucking doing it. Don't even worry. Yeah, so you guys are good.
So the way it looks is great. Animation's great. Color's great. We just talked about the way the music is, right?
Oh yeah. Actually, that's one of the complaints that I do have.
Is about the music.
Yeah, the background music in the show and stuff. There were definitely some parts that were a little bit too zany or a little bit too surreal, I guess. They had some sequences where it was playing like I don't know, like classical feeling, like symphony type music or whatever, or like a soft piano. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was a clear like emphasis on the music versus the imagery.
The situation,
instead of it being, this is happening and there's background music. It's like the music is the focus, and then there's also the story that's going on that's being told without much dialogue. And I feel like those moments did kind of take me out of it. Meanwhile, in the manga, it never felt like I was being taken out. It was like, oh my gosh, I'm being brought in further.
Yeah.
And that kind of pushed me out to be like, this is something that I'm watching. It's not just something that it's not like a story that I'm into. It's a piece of media and art. It just felt different. And I felt like it was out of place for the show that depends so heavily on dialogue and plot and everything.
Yeah.
So try to rely on visuals and music just felt out of place.
Especially because
that makes sense?
Yeah, no, I agree. Because there's episodes where like I literally like I'll tell you, I feel like a lot has happened, right? And like I'll sit there and be like, wow, so much shit happened, but literally nothing happened. It was all just them talking back and forth and people saying this and ideas coming up.
It's like, man, episode 6, they talked a lot, but I felt like it was like an hour's worth of TV. They fit so much in there, and it never felt like I was lost or over stimulated by everything happening.
So when they do this stuff, when they try to make the music the focal point or something, it just feels something feels off with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Something I will say also is like we've always talked about like what's a great show to get into for anime.
Absolutely.
We've always gone with Erased because it's a solid, just a solid good story.
Erased is amazing. The intro and outro are amazing. Solid. It's just got everything to it. And great animation.
You also want to avoid, if you're trying to get into anime, is
tropes, anime tropes,
because people don't understand them. The bleeding out of the nose, the chibi faces, a lot of heavy bakas, little meows.
Yeah.
There's so many,
or even just action sequences where the background changes. You're not in the real world anymore.
Yes. Yeah. So there's like these tropes that like if you're trying to get into anime, can be jarring, right? Like unless you've built this fucking exoskeleton or this shield or this armor to be like, oh, it's just this bullshit, right? Because we get used to it. I've had that essentially. I don't love it. It's not the end of the world when it happens, though. But this show, for sure, I can honestly tell you, I don't think I saw any tropes. Like, it was pretty tropeless.
There is stuff like that in the manga that's in between chapters and whatnot. And it feels good because it does kind of break up that pace, and it's like, oh, cool, we're getting a fun little thing here. The most that we got in the show was a flashback of when Emma was sick as a kid.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And we have like I think it was Norman was sick, and Emma's like there, and she has like
that's what it is. Yeah.
Her hair wiggles like it's like like an antenna or whatever.
There's a name for that. I can't remember what it is.
Couldn't tell you either.
It sounds like ahegao, but it's not.
It was very cute, and it's super subtle. Almost like that's like I'm surprised you picked that out because that's like the tiniest trope ever, right?
Yeah. So there's that. And then it was a goofier scene too of like, Emma, you're not in there, but Ray said I'll be fine. What did he say to you? Idiots don't get sick or whatever.
Yeah.
So it all worked out. That was pretty much the only anime trope in it. Yeah. So it doesn't really have a lot to take you out of it if you're not experienced with anime. Clearly, if you're listening to this podcast, you know a thing or two about anime, or at least like know that these exist and it's something to expect.
Or something that if you hate these tropes, you obviously avoid because you don't like them. But as anime fans, we know these are things that are involved with anime.
So anyways, Erased, Death Note, stuff like that's more placed in the real world is typically something that we would recommend because people understand that. They're like, oh, yep, good guys versus bad guys. I get that. That's a typical thing. Okay, a demon thing. That's new. That's the anime thing of this. Or not ReZero. It's not even Relive. No. I'm trying to talk about Erased right now. I was thinking of the outro song. Their outro song is Re.
It is Re. Yeah.
Right. Which I've been listening to that a lot lately. So that's kind of in my head whenever I think about Erased. Anyways, with Erased, you have the whole like time travel element, but only into your past.
Or sometimes,
it's a weird thing where there's no control over it. And it's like, okay, that's the cool anime thing for this. And for Promised Neverland, it's demons and being on a farm and they're geniuses. So it has a little bit more, but I feel like it also really embellishes the strongest points of anime.
Yeah.
So this is for sure an anime that you could be like, hey, you haven't seen anything before? You should check this out. Oh, yeah. It'll get you into the medium.
It's a great way to introduce people. I was surprised it was going to be. I haven't read the manga, but seeing the stuff's like, well, this looks like it's going to be anime as fuck. It was anime as fuck, but in all the right ways.
Yeah, very accessible.
Yeah. So, I feel like there's nothing more we can really say about the show. I really liked it.
It's fantastic.
I've really tried to avoid to read the manga. I'm really busy right now.
What are some things reading? Like, okay, first off, my mom's watched 9 episodes of the show. She's really into it. She's probably going to wind up reading the manga because that's the kind of person she is.
Yeah.
She doesn't really watch anime. So this is a newer experience for her. She's seen things that my sisters recommended like forever ago.
Yeah.
But this is the first like, hey mom, you're an adult. I'm an adult. You're going to like this. I know your taste.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Kyle's mom is also.
You're Kyle.
My friend Kyle.
Not this show's Kyle.
My friend Kyle's mom is also reading the manga. Like she finished the show and was like, I had to read the manga.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it took her.
So the people that don't I fucking envy that. I wish that I could not and just experience for the first time on TV. But that being said, it's fantastic in the manga. Anyways, what are some things that you think might happen? Not necessarily specifics, but what are some like, things where's the story going to go? Okay. What do you think is kind of like the next thing? And I can tell you that there's for sure, like, there's a really big thing that you like that's going to happen in the show.
So from what I can like just what's the word, assume or guesstimate from, just like my years of reading manga and like watching anime, things that I think are going to happen. I feel like they're going to meet up with other humans, right? Specifically maybe the guy that wrote all these books, whether it's a guy or a girl, I'm not sure. And I think maybe the person's going to end up being not who they think that it is. Like, it's going to be that whole...
it's going to be
like,
a twist.
It's gonna be this twist where like
they're actually a demon or something like that.
Or kind of like they've given up hope and very disgruntled and like, hey, you're supposed to be our savior. And like, no, fuck that. There's no
like
hope.
We're screwed.
Yeah. Like you coming here is a waste of time. That kind of stuff I feel like might happen. I feel like there's going to be some deaths along the way of characters that we like, which I think in my opinion is for the betterment of the show. When Attack on Titan came out, one of the biggest things people praised it for was the fact that everybody was dying, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And we've gone to this point now in Attack on Titan where like we have our core group and we're like,
they're never gonna die.
Yeah, and if any of those guys dies, like we fucking riot, right? Like we fucking, except for fucking
Connie and Sasha
and tall guy, dumb guy McGee, the fucking, you know what I'm talking about? I don't even know his name.
Do.
Yeah,
Aaron's like rival.
Yeah, that guy sucks
kind of
dick,
sucks, but he's also cool, but he also sucks.
He sucks, yeah. So,
well, because what they do with Ymir was, anyways, spoilers for Attack on Titan. There's some really cool stuff that happens, and it does kill major characters just all throughout in different ways than you would expect, or characters go off and do something different. Just constant twists with these characters that you think so well. Just kind of end. Your relationship with who they are at that point ends.
Yeah. So I feel like if this show if this manga or this anime wants to, improve itself and move a notch up or level up a bit, it should do the thing where they should have the courage and the balls to cut ties with characters. Like I already did it with Norman. He's gone. We don't know where he is. Is he dead? Is he not dead? That whole situation. So like kudos on them, because when that happened in the show, I was just like, oh, they're going to figure it out. He'll be fine. Right. Like but
then it gets to that point where like, they're escaping without him.
Yeah,
now.
And it's like,
it's been months.
When are they going to pick up? Where's Norman? Is he in the? So
well, that's why him coming back at that scene at the wall where they are actually leaving.
And I was like, he's fine.
He did do the hiding thing,
and then
we're going to
get
into that.
And then you go, oh wait,
it was just imagination.
So that whole situation was really great in my opinion. So there should be more. There should be other characters we care about who pass away or get lost or do something. Like they change their mind. Things have to happen to them, because if they're just untouchable for the rest of whatever, what's the fucking point, right? Like,
so clearly you think that they're going to meet up with humans, they're going to meet up with ideally the book guy, and then there's going to be some twisty stuff.
I don't know if it happens in that order, though.
Way.
Like, people can die before that or after that. Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen in the forest? Like, what do you think the forest is going to entail? Since it looks like a normal forest, right?
No,
do you think it is a normal forest, or do you think it's going to be?
I think it's like a demony forest. I think it's going to be hard to traverse. It's going to be some some growing pains, right? Like the idea of being like, okay, well, this is a bad tree, right? Like, I think there's somewhere in a demon world. Like, I think there is. I don't know if this is Earth, right? Like, I haven't been like, well, Earth.
Everything kind of leads us to believe that it's probably Earth, but we don't know. Yeah. And it takes place in the future. It takes place in 2050 or something like that.
So what I'm saying is like, I think it could be like,
no, it's not that.
It's not underground, right? What I'm saying is like, I think they can be on the surface of some planet, and there are areas where humans exist, and they're safe, and they've avoided whatever these creatures are that do these horrible things to them.
Sure, yeah.
So I feel like there's pockets of civilization somewhere. So I feel like they're gonna have to try to meet up with some of them, and I think eventually this story will. I mean, I was talking to somebody about this, and they're like, well, yeah, which blew my mind. The conversation I had with this person blew my mind. They're just like, well, yeah, what's the point of season 2? It's just going to be them coming back to save the dumb kids. I was like, what? I was like, what is...
You really think that's going to be it?
Like, do you think like season 2 is just going to be like, yeah, we just got out, now we're coming right back? Like, you remember them saying like, we have at least 2 years, right? So there has to be time where they have to figure their shit out, because you just can't come right back and pick them up.
And not only that, they're going to come back and they're going to be like, hey kids, and also more babies that just showed up. Like, you've had a couple years of development. Who are you now? Like, what's happening? Because 4 to 6, there's a lot that could go on with a genius, I guess. Like,
no, just I remember like the person saying that and being like, what a dumb thing to say. Yeah,
thing.
Yeah, like to be like, well, season 2 is just them coming back and saving the other dumb kids. I was like, no, there's got to be so much other stuff, because coming back to save the rest of the kids, that is going to be a huge ordeal. Like,
we're not even fucking close right now in the manga.
Like, you don't think that there's going to be some sort of like, you know, uppage in fucking security. Like, you don't think, I know right now they don't have like security walking around because they're just like, we don't want to scare the kids. It ruins the meat or whatever. You don't think they'll be like, okay, cool, let's have some fucking, you know, the fucking sentries or something walking around and keeping guard. Even if the kids see it, fuck it, we'll take that on the chin. We can't afford to lose more kids. We now know that's possible, right? So it's like, that shit like blew my mind. I was like, wow, what a dumb thing to say. I would also be, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe we see glimpses of like other farms, like other orphanages or whatever, and maybe there's other kids who are on the same level as our 3 main characters who just like, are like kind of also have escaped.
They're really smart and have escaped.
Yeah, but maybe not to the same level or the same success as our guys did, like with a bunch of people.
And they probably got escaped using different tactics situation. Could have been from a totally different thing instead of being like surrounded by a gorge. Could have been something else.
Maybe they climbed to the bottom of the gorge and walked, you know. There could be a bunch of stuff. So that's just like, that's very just like off the top of my head what I think the show could, or the story could progress. And
what I love about that too is that we can discuss all of this. This is stuff that I'm not telling you if it's in the manga or not, but the fact that you're able to guess so many things and how many different possibilities there are, just with the ways that the story could go and what happens with the kids that are back home, what did wind up happening with Norman, is he dead, is there something else happening with him, and kind of the way that all of our characters are going to go out and try to find this mystery person and what he's got behind it and what that's going to let unfold next, all of that. Pretty interesting. I'm really into it. But what do you think I think you're going to love?
I don't know. Fucking Norman's going to show up with a big old shotgun and just fuck shit. I don't know. I have no clue. Ray fucking grows hair even longer, covers both his eyes. Like, oh, I got it. Phil's gonna be the main character.
That's what it is. Yep. Phil's
gonna choke mom out. Phil's gonna fucking walk up into the orphanage and strangle mom to death.
I love it because I think I've told Sierra what it was. Oh yeah. It was a little spoiler to her, but whatever. Who cares? Whatever.
Yeah, stop doing that. Sierra gets so mad. She's like, well, I know shit because Trip fucking tells me. I was like, oh, you poor thing. Trip always never tells me. She's like, I know, but she'll tell me. I was like,
yeah, well, because she is the kind of crazy person that goes on and reads the end of stuff, right?
Oh, that is true. That is.
So I kind of figured free game, but hey man, that's on you, Sierra. You let me know what you don't want me to tell you about, because you could always stop me. I give you opportunities when I'm about to say stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there was times, we were watching it, I don't know what season of Attack on Titan, but she's like, let me just look something up real quick, and I was like, really? You gonna do that? And then she found out something she didn't want to find out, and I was like, yeah, you can't do that. You
took a risk.
You gotta be careful.
You gotta wait for this
just
shit.
Like I'm kind of like, I didn't watch episode 2 of Game of Thrones till like last night. So it was like a day. No, it was. I saw it on Monday.
You saw it on the night.
No, I saw it Monday morning. I saw it this morning.
Okay.
So I missed it on Sunday, right? But like I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw like a couple things, nothing too serious, and I was just like, you know what? I see it. Like I can see the traps, the honeypots, or whatever. Kind of how like Endgame's going to be in a bit, like, you know, for the new fucking Infinity Wars. I mean, Avengers. I'm like, you know what? I either got to cut out social media because it's going to be everywhere, right?
Yeah.
I feel like the first episode of Game of Thrones is way more like that. Second episode was just people were just like, yeah, fucking you see Arya naked. It's like, oh, cool, whatever. Yeah. Sorry, spoilers.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm not... See, with Game of Thrones, that's something where I'm like, it's gone on for such a long time. I'm sure that the shit that we all expect to happen because they're trying to wrap it up, it's kind of going to happen because they don't have enough time to set everything up. Yeah, man, but with shit like anime and manga and whatnot, I feel like the manga and the anime always differentiate so much that it's hard to tell like what might actually be in there and what's not and what they're going to change leading up to it. That being said, the spoilers that I did tell Sierra about this are not huge.
Yeah, but there's spoilers.
It's enough. Like, yeah.
No, I always have to avoid, like, even if I don't know who a character is, like, if I forget, I'll be like, nope, I can't even look up their name. Because, like, you look up their name, and then, like, they'll pop up on Google, and they'll be, like, dead.
Yeah.
Or, be like, only in 9 episodes. I'm like, oh, well there's
now I know.
40 episodes. That means, well, I'm not a dumbass, right?
Yeah.
Last appearance, this episode, like, oh, great.
But the thing that I did tell Sierra, didn't include any characters. I just kind of said, like, what's going to happen a little bit. Just, if I just said one word, it would tell you what the story's gonna kind of lead into in some way or another, but you have no idea what characters are involved with it.
Yeah.
You have no idea if this is going to be like kind of a sidebar, if it even involves any main characters, kind of like what the situation is at all. But if I said one, I guess it would be 2 words.
I don't want to hear it.
I know. Yeah, you would know what's coming.
Yeah, because I'm not
at
dumb,
some point,
right? Yeah.
for some reason. Well, because it's just a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing.
It would be like if I said American football, it'd be like, so somebody's playing football? Like, yeah.
I got it. I know what you're going to say. Beach episode.
I'm not saying it's a beach episode.
I'm not saying the next season is just all beach episodes.
I'm telling you, man, there's a lot of stuff. We talked about a lot of different things, a lot of different options. We didn't necessarily cover much of what actually is shown in the manga at all. That's what I fucking love about this. That's what I'm saying, is that there's so many different directions that it could go. There's so many things that it could do, and they're just handling it all so well and so professionally. I love it.
Yeah, so there you go, man. There's our fucking episode about Promised Neverland. I'm tired. You're tired. It's fucking done. I'm done with this show. This show is trash. I'll never watch it again. It's a good show. Yeah, everybody should check it out.
The manga is amazing.
I mean, hopefully,
anyone that can't hold back, go ahead and read the manga. Anyone that can hold back, go for the anime, because the anime is doing a great job.
I feel like if you've listened to all this episode, I really hope you'd seen the show before. Like,
we did say some stuff.
Yeah, but I really hope you'd watched the show and not been like, yeah, I'll watch it later. You made a huge mistake, because it's all out there, dog. It's all hanging out there.
Hell yeah.
Anyways, that's the show. Next week we do have a topic. It's this new show on Netflix, right?
Yeah, I don't remember the name of it right now, but it's Netflix's new claymation stop motion for the first time ever TV show type thing.
Yeah, it looks like it looks kind of cutesy.
Anyways, it's Japanese. It's kind of manga-y looking.
Also, shout outs to Baki Part 2 dropping on Netflix. Ayo.
How is it?
I haven't seen any of it. I just got the notification yesterday saying, like, hey, man, it's out. I'm like, oh, well, I know what I'm doing for the next 20 hours.
Fucking Baki. Oh, my God. All right. I'm really glad that you guys listened to the episode. Thanks for joining us. And thanks, Tangerine Dreams, for begging us to do an episode on Promised Neverland, one of the best shows and mangas that I've ever been,
lucky
interested
enough to check out. Yeah, okay, cool. So if you like our logo, hit up Aaron from TurbyTops.com. If you like our theme song, check out Tom Nasser on SoundCloud or YouTube. Trip, where can you find us?
You can find us on Facebook. Look up the Instagram Podcast. Same thing goes for Instagram. Look up the Instagram Podcast. If you want to send us a tweet at InstantRamenPod.
Podcast Interfit.
And you could go ahead and email us, InstantRamenPodcast@gmail.com. That's everywhere you could find us. Please don't actually keep leaving inflammatory comments, just because I don't
like reading them.
Yeah, it's not so much because I don't take anything personally from it at all.
They're just kind of mean.
Yeah, it's just I don't like that negativity out in the world. And if you have it in you, try to channel that into something positive.
Yeah.
If you have to get out that aggression, that anger or whatever, put it into the drive of doing something productive.
And again, we've said it 1,000 times. This is just our opinion. This is how we think. This is what we think of the shows or whatever. And if you like the thing that we don't like, that's fine. That's your opinion. You're wrong. You're okay. You're allowed to be wrong.
Yeah. And one thing that I have asked people to do is tell us why you like it. Tell us why you don't like it.
Yeah.
Don't just say,
fuck you.
Your opinion was dumb.
And then drop a big N-word.
Reasons. Yeah. Because it's not productive at all.
I can't even try to learn or you listen to your part of the argument if there's no information behind it. Even if you think that it's really small, just quick description as to why you think everything's great in your opinion. That's all we ask for.
And I do. It's something where I don't want to prove anyone wrong. I just kind of want to experience other people's opinions and ideas and know why.
Yeah.
It's fun to see those different things. That's why I do read comments on shows that I'm not watching, because I'm always curious, why does somebody like this so much? And I'm like, it's just so funny. And then every once in a while it was really sexy. And I'm like, cool. That's for sure not me. I don't want to see that like really sexy part of it unless it's overt and over the top. But it seems like it's not trying to be that way sometimes. I'm coming at you, Konosuba. That's what I'm fucking talking about right now.
Konosuba #1. So anyways, I mean, we do appreciate you commenting, and just keep that shit up. I guess it's fun. Also, I want to apologize if I sneezed a lot in the episode.
Only a couple of times.
Yeah, a couple of times. And I'm not going to cut them out, so get over it.
Oh, shit. Yeah, okay. Well, then I guess I shouldn't have tried to start off at a good point where you could have...
Nope, can't do it. Sorry. The beginning part's just me sneezing for 5 minutes straight.
Enjoy his allergies.
Anyways, this is bye from Juan.
I'll see you around from Chris.
Hey, Trip, don't forget.
Just add hot water.